to a show.
Gauge it based on like, okay, I can see that. Whereas if it's low,
Yeah.
then I don't see anything, and it's like, okay, I can hear us. So
It's so crazy because I was with you when this whole thing started, and now I'm looking at your whole setup.
It's funny because when we first did this, I had the equipment, but we used my phone.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why that was even a choice, but. And then the next year I had the equipment. I was like, yeah, we're better now. We're going to hook this up. And we still didn't fucking have it hooked up. It was like third year, we were good. This year, fourth year, we're here. Listeners, welcome. This is awesome. This is also Off the Mats podcast. And it's been 4 years. So it's a 4-year anniversary. So obviously, if I'm doing an anniversary episode, the person that I have to have with me for those episodes is my dear friend and teammate, Mark. That's all y'all get. Y'all just get Mark. Sometimes I say Coach Mark. But either way, it's Mark all the same. And 4 years. Welcome back for this. Although you did the 200th episode too. So it's not like it's been a year.
Yeah.
I'm trying to break
I didn't even know you were recording. I'm just looking at that the whole time.
Well, yeah. It was like, okay, let me just hit record. Well, because what happens is like we've been talking. And all that shit was like, oh my God, we should have been talking about that shit. We should have been recording.
That has happened before. It has. I'm just so impressed with the setup right now because
well, thank you. It was necessity.
It literally started from a phone and then it blew up into this. So
it's kind of like Drake. Started from the bottom, now we here. Except for he didn't start from the bottom. He had a swimming pool in his backyard. That's not the bottom. You're like, dude, I was a squatter when I was a kid. Like that's the fucking bottom.
I was too, especially in my college days.
Yeah, it's like relax, dude. You weren't at the bottom. I mean, but it's inspirational. Someone's gonna listen to it. It's like, oh my God, that guy's so inspiring. He was at the bottom too, like me. No, he wasn't. He's from Canada. Like, I'm pretty sure they don't have homeless people in Canada. It's too cold. Like
You would die.
Yeah, like
die.
And I think like the Canadian government, like. They take care of their homeless, I think. I don't know. I don't think I'm allowed to go because I have a DUI. So yeah, they be strict about that shit. Like, you can't cross this border, bitch. Like, what you do? I don't have a passport either, so that too. Although it's in motion, I'm about to become an adult. I'm going to get a passport.
Wow.
I don't know where I'm going, but Iceland is 6 hours away, like on a flight, and the ticket's like $300. So I think.
I wanted to go to Iceland.
Iceland's going down soon.
I need to make plans. I just don't know when the off season is for Iceland because I'm not trying to go when there's a whole bunch of people there.
I would imagine December
when everything's frozen.
Like, it might not be like people aren't really fucking with Iceland in December, which is when I'm going. Like, oh, how much those tickets? $1.50. Let's go ahead and
can't beat that.
Like, no, actually, if I look and see some tickets for Iceland for under $200. I will make that trip. I don't give a fuck. I will book that trip.
I've seen a lot of people go, and the one thing they do is they always do like the sulfur hot springs and everything, and it's like probably one of their best experiences because there's a bar and you're in the hot spring.
Like, you're selling me now. You should be a travel agent for Iceland. You got me.
All right.
Like,
career change.
So it's like, where are you going? Like, I'm going on a road trip. Like, actually, it takes less time to get to Iceland than it does to get to Detroit driving.
Yeah, crazy.
Detroit's like, what, 8 to 10 hours?
Yeah.
Like, Iceland's 6 hours. And it's cheaper, I think.
I remember I went to Sweden, and that was like a 7-hour flight. I was like...
I might be in. I got folks over there. Just recorded with Johan.
Oh, yeah.
So, might have to make the trip. Well, I've talked to him about that, though, before. Like, yeah, I want to come over there and visit. They got jiu-jitsu, obviously.
I have some people like people I've met online who train in Sweden, and they're active there. I was surprised. They're very active.
Well, I always have to ask that question when I talk to Johan because it's like I feel like the bottom's going to fall out eventually, and it's like nope, they still chill it and getting more people. It's not like because you would think with a population of what's their population? Because I was about to say something really fucking ignorant. So let's go ahead and confirm how many folks are in Sweden.
I actually really want to go to like Asia and Europe. Well, not really interested in Europe because Europe has IBJJF, right? They have the European no-gis, European gi, so that they're very active in that. But like Asia, they're starting to get their own IBJJF Asia.
Yeah,
And I think that's happening now, along with the Brasileira no-gi stuff. And I really want to see how the jiu-jitsu game is over there compared to like in America and Europe.
yeah. That's something that crosses my mind a lot, and it's more because I don't have money. I was like, I just want to go places and grapple with people, just to see what the experience.
Yeah.
Well, because like, I'm sure I've said this on the podcast before. So if somebody's gonna steal this idea, it's fine because I'm not gonna do it. And then I know it's actually being done on YouTube. Someone's doing it already. But it was like, I remember before doing the podcast, I was like, I want to do like a travel show.
Yeah.
A jiu-jitsu travel show like Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations. And just go do jiu-jitsu. But then after you train, go out, hit the eateries, check it out. And I remember talking to Jose when he went to Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you trying to work something out, see if, hey, go over there, take a few pictures, get a couple short videos, and then make something of that. Like, he did, but he never got the the pictures or video. But that's all right.
That's something I need to do better about, because when we go travel for like tournaments and everything, our coaches love to eat. Like Julius like goes out of his way to like go to like places to eat. Like we did New Jersey Open, right? And then after the tournament, we went to like this bomb like pizza joint over like maybe like a couple miles down the road, and it's weird because the ratings were a mixture I saw, but then like when you eat the food, it's like, oh, it really is one of like the best thin crust pizzas you could have around the area, and it was
Nice.
And it was like a very family homey type area too, and I had a great time eating it. I wish I took videos and pictures because like there were some good things, like the margarita pizza was good, the cheese pizza was all right, but then they would throw something in the mix like Philly cheesesteak pizza, and I'm like, what?
Those are wild selections. Like, because they be doing that down here, and I'm like, I want to, but it just seems you're mixing my shit
You're doing
up.
too much. You're doing too much. I need my bread and like the bread and the cheese whiz with the steak and cheese. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's like, separate my worlds. What the fuck are you doing? But that's something that Sarah and I were talking about yesterday, actually, when I took an edible and started watching the Kendrick Lamar Juneteenth concert. Because it felt like that was the right time to do it. It was just sitting here. We weren't recording. We were not training today. So I was like, because I've taken edibles and then gone in.
Yeah.
And not realized I was still high until someone like fucking tripped me. And I was
man,
like,
that edible, they last for a long time, which is why I don't do it.
yeah.
Like, you have like the orange square pieces too?
So, well, no, not these are just regular CBD. I got these blueberry ones upstairs. They're,
Oh, you fancy.
I got people. But like the little blue raspberry one, that one, I took one of those, and Sarah went to work. I didn't think that was going to do what it did because I had to edit Colompton that night.
Do you take the whole piece or just like half
No,
or
the
a
whole
quarter?
piece.
Shit,
I
you're
went all
crazy.
in. Well, I mean,
I always take like a quarter if I ever, and even then I'm like, oof, this is too much.
I mean, I didn't think anything of it at the moment because I didn't think it was going to do what it was going to do. But I was sitting there and Sarah texted. I don't even remember what she was texting me. It was something about the kid, and I was trying to respond because like the answers weren't yes or no answers. These were like I had to write sentences. I was like, oh no. And then she goes, "Can I call?" And now I realize I can't even do a yes or no answer either because I couldn't type no fast enough. And she calls, and I was sitting there on the phone like, oh no. Like I couldn't, like I don't know what the conversation was about. I cannot for the life of me remember it. But I was just like, okay, yeah. He's like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm just trying to edit this Colompton. Okay, well, you go ahead and go, and don't stay up too late. I won't. Hung up. I had the laptop open because I had to like we recorded something additional, so I had to like splice it in the middle.
Yeah.
I couldn't find the part to splice it, and I was like, "Oh no!" I just closed the computer, went to sleep, and woke up the next day still high. Went to work, was not okay. I was have to drive, and I was like, I remember just like white knuckling the fucking steering wheel the whole ride. I was like, "Oh my god, oh, I'm so scared." And then at about 11, a little before noon,
Yeah.
like I could start feeling like, okay, all right, we're good.
Dude, that's happened to me before too. And it's those orange pieces, those square pieces I was telling you about. Like usually, if someone does offer me something, I take like a little quarter piece off. But then if I take the whole piece, I'm high until like the following day.
Like, so after that, the routine now is just cut them in half. You know, something.
Yeah, even in half, like I still feel it. Right? There was this one time, like I don't know what it was. Allie was out. What was she doing? I think she was out with her friends, and I met up with one of my old college buddies, and he was like, "Yo, I have like a square edible. You want to eat some, and we could get food?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I was feeling like I was heavy, so I could take a bigger piece, and that's where the mistake was. And then I took a whole piece, and then I remember like I got home, and it started hitting me, and then Allie calls. And she goes like, "Are you okay?" And I'm literally staring at the wall and the ceiling, and it's moving further away from me. And I'm like hysterically cracking up. I'm like, "I'm not okay." Why is the TV moving further away from my grasp?
Dude, like I was like everything I could hear. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's spiders in the wall, and I could hear like the little.
Yeah, you can hear every little thing, right? Just like, this is a bad move.
And then I could hear my heart beat like boom, 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 boom. And I was just in there, like as I'm trying to go to sleep, I was like, okay, here's what we're gonna. I have like a sleep mask that has the speakers.
Yeah.
So I put on some old Mariah Carey. It was like, I'm going to sleep, one way or the other. Something's going down, and I was fine. And then I woke up. But that's the thing. It's like it's not like you go to sleep and you wake up, you're fine. Like, because I've shown up to training.
Yeah.
Not realizing, because everything feels fine. Okay, I'm good. I get there. All right, grab a partner, start fighting for grips. As soon as I feel that lapel get yanked, it's like, I'm not okay. Like, I'm fucked up. But yeah, way off topic. As we were watching the Kendrick concert, people in the crowd with their phones out.
Yeah.
And they're recording the show, and that's fine. But I'm I was being an old timer and start complaining. It's like, "Yo, can't y'all just be in the fucking moment?" Like, and then we start kind of talking about that. It was like every time I go out places, I unfortunately don't get pictures because I'm in the moment.
Yeah.
I'm just excited about being in the moment and taking it in versus like, and I try to remember taking my phone for like, the occasional picture, but I also feel like weird taking my phone and take a picture. I feel like, oh, he's a fucking tourist. Bitch, I live around the corner. Like, what the fuck is you talking about? But I do feel that vibe too. It's like, oh, look at the fucking tourist. Like, and I feel like people are gonna be judging me. Like, oh, he's not in the moment. He's just out here to take pictures. It's like, no, I'm with you. I just wanted this one picture of the fucking, Lincoln Memorial. Fuck out of my face. So, fuck people and fuck being judged about taking pictures, dude. Next time you go out to compete, take all the pictures. Get out of the moment. Take the pictures. That was all.
It's harder if you're Asian because now there's like this associated, like people think I should have a selfie stick when I take pictures at this point. It's true.
I'm still a couple sentences back. Like, it's harder when you're Asian. It's like, I didn't say it. Like, just for anybody, like, oh, this
but it's true. Like, people were like, "Oh, you should have a selfie stick, right?" I said, "No."
Like, I have a selfie stick. I've never used it.
I think it's one of the most. It's okay if my aunt and my mom use it, right? Because they love taking pictures. If I use it, that shit looks a little pretentious.
Well, like,
like big buff guy with the he taking pictures of himself
at training, like in the middle of a roll with the selfie stick.
Guys, getting this bow and arrow.
Like what the how rude is that? Well, like I have like a little tripod and it turns into a selfie stick.
Yeah.
So
I have that too, but that's only for taking like recording my matches, right?
Like I had it because I was going to start bringing it, the trainer set it up when we're rolling, but then I started getting my ass kicked so much. I was like, yeah, let's not read it. And I know it's good to like go back and look at that shit so you can correct your mistakes, but dude, it's hard sometimes. And
you know who I think of with the selfie stick every time? Our teammate Muhammad, because that dude, he's on it, right? He's always recording his matches. He's always doing film study, but. Man, that motherfucker looks good in the camera. He knows how to pose for the camera. He knows how to like smile for the camera.
Oh, you know that's from like years of training and shit though. Just sitting in your room by yourself, like find the right angles.
I don't know. It's hard to say because like I think he's such a grand guy. He's so good at. But
some folks have that though.
When we did New Jersey Open, Kai's taking pictures of everyone for our team, right? So. Yeah. And, the thing is, like, Muhammad's still doing his matches and everything. And when you look at the pictures Kai took, the dude's still looking at the camera, smiling and posing and everything. He looks like a superhero in those pictures.
I mean,
you look at me, I look dumb as shit. Like, why am I sweating so hard? why I look so flabbergasted?
It's like I look confused right
there. What are my eyes doing? Is that a booger in my nose?
It's like that's the look of a guy who doesn't realize that he's at a competition right now. He just realized, oh shit. I mean, some folks are just on. There's some folks that they know where the camera is at all times. They know how to make that shit work.
Muhammad's good at that.
I'm not that guy.
I'm not either. I said, man, Muhammad, you gotta give me some camera pointers because you look like a fucking superhero here. I look like an all-American reject.
Oh, I thought you were going. I thought you was about to go heavy.
I was gonna go heavy, and I realized there were words I was about to use, but I'm like, we're on a podcast. Let me.
And just for the record, when I do in-person episodes, these shits don't get edited. I'm just like, all right, we good. Like everything seemed fine. Please send it out. And
people listen to this. I got a reputation. I work with kids. I can't.
Hey. I work. I don't even want to go into where I work. It's like, oh my god, you work there? You went to work high? Like, I didn't choose to go to work high. Like this shit just happens to be in me. No, it's like whenever I see a camera, I acknowledge the camera, but then I feel weird because I know there's a camera.
I know.
It's like I'm trying not to look. Because when we had the Memorial Day open mat,
yeah,
and we took the picture with Alan, and. First of all, I can't stand just regular pose pictures either.
I can't either.
I don't know how to stand.
I look dumb as shit when I took that. I was like, man, I look. But Alan's a homie. He's.
Yeah, I just talked to him. Was it last week? 2 weeks ago? Something like that. And because he was just touching base. It was like, how's training going? Because we always reach out. Like we met through like the collector community.
Yeah.
But it happens that hey, we both do jiu-jitsu, and fun times. Although when we went to the one party that we all met up at, they won't allow us to grapple. Like I brought, like when they first saw me last year, they're like, Dante, Bobby wants me to let you know there's a dude from Ireland here who does BJJ, and he wants to meet you. I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Hey, tell him I'll bring my gear. I get a text 10 minutes later. Bobby says, do not bring your gear. I was like, all right. So then this year, the little brought like a little bag and everything, had my travel gi, and then I brought two, like I think I brought like the blue gi and then like a black gi. I was like, just in case, I don't know what the size is. So we're sitting there talking, and there's one of the other guys there. We're talking with him, and we're like, hey, start talking jiu-jitsu, and he's like, oh, I've always been interested in it. I was like, really? I got stuff in the trunk of the car. Like, let's go get changed. Let's go do jiu-jitsu. So I sneak out to the car, come back. Alan, I've never seen anyone change clothes that fast. Dude, it was like Superman in the phone booth. He went into the bathroom, came out like literally less than a minute later. I was like, dude, what to be fair, he was wearing a kilt,
Yeah.
so that probably aids his speed. But like, he goes in, changes, comes out, and then Bobby's wife sees it. She's like, "No." And I was like, "How does she know what this looks like?" She's looking at us like, "How do you know what we're wearing? You don't even know what this is. We might just be wearing cosplaying right now." It's like, "No." So I sneak out, go over to Bobby. He's like, "Hey," so he's like, "Laura already told me. I'd really appreciate it if you didn't do it." I was like, "Come on." He's like, it was like, "We're not gonna get hurt. We'll be safe." He's like, "Yeah, I trust that you guys will be safe, but neighbors, like, we already get enough complaints." I was like,
Oof.
"Fuck." It's like, "All right, that's fine," but yeah, like it was important to have him come on Monday for that open mat, because I was like, "Look, man, I know he's not coming back next year for the party.
Yeah.
But maybe later down the line, but next year he won't." So it's like, I have to roll with you in some capacity.
Yeah.
Like somehow, some way, we got to do jiu-jitsu. And he like something like was going on with his foot. His foot was hurt.
Yeah, I think he told me about it too. So I stayed away from it when we were rolling. I think he said he like tore something, or it was pretty injured, and so like that's why our roll was pretty light. But I know I'm glad like he came. It's crazy because I was watching him because I was like, "Man, you're only here for a little bit. Like, do you want to roll?" And you could tell by the look in his eyes, he was looking, and he was like, "Man, I really want to get some rounds in." And so it was cool. Like at least he got to go with rounds like with us.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing when we initially got there. So I called him that morning at the hotel where I was staying. I was like, "Dude, do you want to come to open mat?" And he was like, yeah.
Did he bring his gi though, or did he have to rent one?
So he brought rash guard and stuff. He didn't bring a gi.
Mm-hmm.
He had to rent one. Because, when we initially talked before he came down here, he was like, "I don't want to bring a gi, get it all sweaty, and I got to travel back with it." I was like, that makes sense. It's heavy and all that shit too. But
you know what's funny? People are watching him roll, and they're like, "He doesn't roll like a white belt." Yeah. Like he don't roll like he's a white belt.
So he did have his purple belt with him, because like when we were at the house and he got changed, he had. I was like, "Okay, relax, like relax, bust jokes." But yeah, when he said that he will come to open mat, I was like, "All right, perfect." And then as we're driving, he was like, "I don't know, my foot still kind of fucked up, so I don't know." Then he was like, "I'll probably just sit there and watch. I'm fine with watching."
No, he was not, dude.
No,
you could tell in his eyes he wanted to roll.
So no, when we got there initially, he came over and met Keith. It was really, really cool. And they're getting set up. He was like, "I think I'm gonna roll." I was like, "All right, cool. All right, let's do it." And I went into the mat area, and he went with Keith. So I was like, "All right, where he's gonna come back out with the gi?" And I saw him come over and sit down. I was like, "The fuck?" And then once we got everything kind of kicked off. And first off, I forgot, it was a holiday, so I was thinking, it might be like 10, maybe 15 people here. It was like fucking...
No, open mats are fucking huge. Actually, we had an open mat today at SP. I think that place would have filled up, and everyone would just have to take turns rolling.
Yeah, I mean, that's how sometimes... Well, no, Friday night when they do the no-gi, they actually do that. They just do fucking King of the Hill instead.
With the one at Savannah Park?
Yeah. It's like, because, it's a good size area, but when it gets going, it's like, oh my god, can't nobody do shit. I think last Saturday, was it Saturday? I think we had a pretty big class, like a larger class than normal, on a Saturday morning. I was like, okay.
That was a pretty good one. That was a lot of old Ivy League people.
Seeing Andy show up, I was like,
and then Wayne was there too.
Yeah, Wayne coming back, Andy coming back. I think Wayne came back a couple weeks ago, so I was happy to see, 2 weeks in a row.
I see Andy, he comes to no-gi time to time, but it was good to see him in a gi, and I was like, man, he's still pretty strong. I'm sorry, strong is offensive. He has pretty technical passing. Yeah. And like he's still doing like a lot of the things. Like it's like he never really took a break.
Yeah. I think like he's always had kind of that like natural. Like just I thought
he was really good when he started off as a white belt. Like like when I was doing Muay Thai, he was doing like IBJJF runs with the team as a white belt, and I'm like, wow, he's doing really good.
Yeah.
And so like I always thought he had like that 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 fight IQ factor, right? Like he always knew what to do. He always, had a pretty good game. Like he had a good he's pretty smart about how he approaches things. But he's a master's guy, so he has kids, 2 kids, and just always working and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's one thing that I always factor in when I see him and I don't see him. It's like, oh, haven't seen Andy in a while. Oh, there's Andy.
Yeah,
it's like family life. The same with Wayne, because I think his kids had soccer.
Yeah.
And practices on Saturdays or practices during the week.
Yeah.
Like basically during our class time, and then games on Saturday during class time. So
I mean that's how it is with a lot of these guys. Like remember Brian Caprice?
Yeah.
He's so big into lacrosse. Like it kind of like stirred him away from jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
But then because he loves lacrosse, he's like, I want to see my kids follow through with this.
Well, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I see his Instagram, I see the lacrosse stuff, and it's really cool because it's like when you see people with a passion for something, it's like, chase what's your thing.
Yeah.
And don't, and granted, he liked jiu-jitsu. He was really, really fucking good at jiu-jitsu. I mean, the thing is, though, it's like, I'm sure he's done lacrosse like all his life.
Yeah. That's his sport. That's really a sport.
And that's what we do here. It's like I think the state sport used to be jousting. And they're like, come on, son. Who's jousting?
Renaissance Festival.
These motherfuckers out here playing lacrosse. Shit, dude, that was one of the first things when I moved here. That was one of the first things I stumbled into was lacrosse. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's lacrosse. Like, okay.
And now it's like a big sport in the whole nation. Like you get scholarships for it now.
Well, like I remember in Delaware when I lived in Delaware, I saw a kid with a lacrosse stick, throwing the ball against the wall, and I was just like, "What the fuck is that?" Then I came here, like within like a month.
Yeah,
it's all over the place. My neighbor, he's got a lacrosse stick. He's walking around cradling. I was like, "Okay."
You know what's crazy? One of my students, he just graduated, but he just got a lacrosse scholarship, and we were talking about it. He's like, "Yeah, Mr. Mark, this is kind of big for me because, like, first of all, I'm an inner city kid. A lot of the good lacrosse players, they're like out of the county and close to like other areas, but like I'm an inner city kid and I'm black, so like this is like a huge step up for me as an individual and what I'm representing." And he was so happy about it. But then I'm thinking to myself, like, dang, they really do give scholarships for lacrosse. I was still back in the scholarship part. I was like, really? They do? Oh, you want to do football?
Well, that's like it because growing up, I mean, I remember like kids I went to school with, they're like big time scholars because like College Park, Navy, Hopkins,
man, Navy definitely,
UMBC, like all of those. So I remember when I got here and started seeing lacrosse like rankings, it was like the top 10, like 5 or 6 of the top 10 was like Maryland or like surrounded, like Virginia, I think Georgetown, and then along the East Coast you go up to like New York or Syracuse because they're always one of the top schools. Rutgers.
It's like East Coast places.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy though? Lacrosse doesn't even bother me as much as like the other shit I see on TV, right? Like we have professional cornhole tournaments, we have pickleball tournaments, which is like, I don't know. I'm just like a dumbass version of tennis, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which I like. I actually, I'm saying that because I tried pickleball recently, and like there are these people who like dedicated like a couple of years into pickleball. But for me, I have a tennis background, so when I went out there and played tennis, it was like they're like, "Whoa, how are you hitting those shots?" I'm like, "Well, I have 25 years of like tennis experience, and that's all I'm using."
Yeah, well, I remember Steve tried to get me to do pickleball. I was like, "You gotta come on and do pickleball. It's so much fun." And I don't doubt that it's fun. It's like,
I mean, it's an activity, right? You're getting some sort of physical and mental stimulation from it.
It's just I'm not interested. Like I just talk about this with Sarah. We're talking about TV shows.
Yeah,
I was like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, fucking look great. Not interested. Same thing with pickleball. Looks fun. I'm sure it is fun. Not interested.
Yeah.
But again, the same can be said about jiu-jitsu. When I try to get my friends to do jiu-jitsu, like, come do it. Like, come on, do it. It's a lot of fun. Like, Dude, you're always injured though. I know, it's so much fun, dude.
Yeah.
And then they're like, not interested. Like, or I don't want to get injured. Like, fuck y'all, pussies. But it's like scholarships with like lacrosse. Well, like lacrosse, period. It, I guess it's like maybe more so bigger now and more so now. But I know like growing up, I went to school with dudes who were getting scholarships, and I was like, oh, like okay, like, well, but then it was like, okay, what do you do from there? It's like, oh, it's big in college too. Okay, cool. On the East Coast, well, in Notre Dame, I think their lacrosse team was pretty decent. I believe, if I remember correctly. But this Notre Dame, I think they like do a lot of like good things because it's Notre Dame. Like, yeah, I want to go to Notre Dame. Then you go there, and Joe Montana went there and bullshit like that. We keep forgetting that he won a national title and God knows how long. Michigan won one last year, in case y'all didn't know. But Notre Dame ain't won one in like 50 years.
Isn't there like 2 Notre Dames too?
Probably. I don't know. I know there's the one in South Bend, Indiana, and then I think there's like a all women's.
That's the one I know.
I think that's near here. That's
It
like
is
in
near
Maryland
here. I've been to that one before.
Of course you have.
And that's where we're leaving that at. That's why I was like, wait, are we talking about the same one?
It's like when I say Notre Dame, everybody thinks like Notre Dame, like
No.
football, basketball,
I know the
hockey.
all-girls one.
And this dude's like thinking about like the all girls. Was like
That's the one I've been to.
they let women play football.
That's what I was thinking just now.
It's like
When I originally went there, I was like, oh, this must be the one with the. Let me stop. I'm putting too much out there.
but yeah, like actually, it's funny. I just had Timmons on. We actually started talking about lacrosse, so it's funny that lacrosse comes back up again whenever the episode goes out. I don't know. Maybe Monday. Maybe this Monday. Although this episode isn't going out until August, so there you go. Behind the scenes info right there. We're recording this shit like a month in advance.
Yeah.
So, well, because I ended up getting ahead of myself because I would freak out
You do that.
Like, oh no, I need a guest. I need an episode for tomorrow. And then hey Sarah, come downstairs. Let's talk about some bullshit. And then we like put out an episode. It's like, whew, keep the streak alive. But then I was like, well, let me get way ahead of this shit. And I just started contacting people, and surprisingly, people are like, "Yeah, I'll do an episode. I'll do a podcast." I was like, "Word, all right, cool." Then we sit down and record. I was like, "Okay, so this episode," and I was like, "Oh shit, this shit won't go out for 5 weeks." Like, okay, it's fine. I was like, "Really?" Because I know a couple people that not in this room, but I know a couple people that are like, "I want my shit to go out this week."
Yeah. Have you ever interviewed anyone from Rising Tide? Is that what the kids call it? High tech.
It sounds familiar, but I'm gonna be honest. Like,
one of my buddies just got promoted to black belt. I thought he'd be a interesting guy to because he's Filipino like me, and I think he started. Sometimes I forget I'm Filipino.
It's just the way you said it showed it. It's like, he's Filipino like me.
I had to really think about it. You know why? Because I grew up in a black community, and now I work in an inner city area. It doesn't help. These people are like people I work with, and they're like they forget I'm Asian too.
Well, dude, I oftentimes forget because because Mark, I don't know if you noticed, I don't see color. Okay,
I don't either. I don't either. But then I have to remind myself people do, and so like. Dude, it gets so bad. Like in school, like I celebrated Black History Month harder than most people, and then when it came to AAPI month, they were like, "Oh, can you research a historical hero?" My dumb ass Googled Mulan. It was the most saddest moment in my life. And then all my coworkers were like, "Yeah, he black. Why are you giving him this dumbass's job?"
They looked at you and was like, "Yeah,
dude, it gets so bad. It gets real bad.
That's wild." I mean,
it's like dark humor is funny, but to other people, that shit would be like, "Oh man, this is terrible. Why would you say that?"
I mean, you gotta pick your tribe. People
like, you can't fuck with me. Then this is literally how I speak.
Well, that's the thing. It's like there are times where it's like, the dark humor. In the dark humor, it spans. It's all over. but sometimes it's like it gets a little too dark for some people, and it's like, ooh,
I
like
know.
I don't like the way you said that. I was like, no, trust me, dude, it's fucked up, but it's like it's no worse or no less worse than what I'm going to say about this in a second.
Yeah.
I keep it all in the same spectrum. Like, when I talk about therapist, dude, she's used to it now. I know
Yeah.
the first time when I started talking about my mom,
Mhm.
and that shit went dark. I know the first time she was like, "Oh my god, this guy has problems." They're like, oh, I don't like. There's one thing I thought it was hilarious, but it was really, really fucked up. It's like I want to say, it was like, ugh, I know people are like, God, this guy, you're a mess. Like, we're not listening to this podcast again if you're still listening. But I don't know. It's like dark humor helps you get through.
I mean, that's why like I appreciate stand-up comedy, right? They say the shit a lot of people think but aren't willing to say when you really think about it, right? Like when you hear stand-up comedians, they say a lot of dark stuff, but in a sense, it's kind of true. Like this is how common people think. Like your average Joe, this is literally how they think. No one just never says it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why you look at like comments on Instagram. Like there's especially the way these reels are being made, and they're definitely trying to like there's intent like sexual intent. There's like some sort of like marketing intent behind it. And so when you see the comments, it's like true. Like these people, like the comments, they're speaking facts. Like people are thinking this. No one's just saying it.
I don't know if I sent you. It's an AI video, which AI is starting to get to a point where I'm like,
Yo, it's getting ridiculous.
chill.
There's this thing with Shaq. Apparently, he went out with his 21-year-old girlfriend on vacation. They're both like cuddling up. Why does someone use an AI to put Drake's face on the girlfriend's head, and it looks like Shaq's cuddling Drake?
There's so my one buddy Joe from Nerd Rage Radio sent me some video. I don't even know what it is. It's grappling of some sort, but it's like, I'll send it to you. Like, I looked at that shit, I was like, I'm glad I'm no longer high. Because if I saw this shit last night, my brain would melt. Like, I'm not okay with what I'm looking at. But there's a video this morning that I saw because the NBA draft just happened. And LeBron James for the Lakers, his son, also got drafted to the Lakers. And there's this video. It's AI. It's clearly fake.
Yeah.
But the GM is basically saying like, well, yeah, basically we had to draft Bronny because LeBron was gonna. It was like what he said. He mentioned nepotism. It was like, yeah, nepotism exists. Yeah, that was a total nepotism move. Like we had to draft him, otherwise LeBron was gonna go over the request to trade to the Celtics.
Yeah.
Which we, I think people are like, we know that's not something he'll ever do. Which is why it's now even more obvious that it's fake. And he goes, I mean, Bronny sucks. I mean, what did he say? He's like, I don't even want to say what he said because it was fucking horrible. But it was like, oh my God, like this is clearly AI. So you go to the comments, and there are people that can tell it's AI. And the person who made the post even jumped in a few times. It's fake. It's totally fake. As a matter of fact, I made this before the kid got drafted.
Oh,
so
pull the Simpson.
Yeah, see, some folks know. Some folks know. You gotta, see if we can go get those lottery numbers for me now. But there are people in the comments that took that shit serious. Like, it's like, oh my God, dude. Like, I
need to stay away from Instagram sometimes. For me now, it's a chatting method. It's a chatting platform, but there are people who are people who are going to claim it's AI and people who are going to claim it's not. And then in some cases it's like backwards where they're like, oh, it's not AI. This is literally how our government works, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, dude, shut up. I'm just trying to get entertained by this video because I'm bored at work.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I look at. Well, that's what social media was, is like for like fun entertainment. Now it's become like actual news and stuff.
Everyone thinks they're a newscaster.
It's that right there. It was like, so I get tagged in some posts and collabed in some posts that are like kind of news-ish type posts.
Yeah.
I don't accept those. I might put them in the stories, but because like my whole thing is like I post goofy memes and technique videos that I like, whether they're good or not. I don't know. I liked it, and that's what counts. If you don't like it, get off my page. But you get people in the comments that take that shit to heart, and it's like, bye. You don't got to be here. And then that third post is always a promo for the podcast, or it might be like some
Yeah, so you have
like
a system.
inspirational
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah.
And I put up one. It was basically saying like, your support may not come from friends. It may come from strangers. And had 3 people jumping there trying to get like, well, then maybe you need to pick better friends. Maybe. Or and then someone's like, well, that's not true at all because blah blah blah. My support. So I'm like, good for you. I'm proud of you. Good, because I've had family that kind of shit on me. Sorry, like, it's my post, and I know others that have had this happen. So, like, relax. It's not that deep, dog. like, why are we so upset? It's the internet. Like, and we still talk about the Haktua girl. I know we're a month out.
My gosh, I feel bad.
We're
for
a month out from this now, as this is gonna come out. But still, like, I'm gonna bring it back in August. I'm gonna start posting memes about her again, just so that this episode is relevant to it. It's like, oh my god, we forgot about her.
You know who's a guy I really chatted with recently who I really appreciate? The guy who runs McDojo Life.
Oh yeah, Rob. Yeah,
he's really sweet. I actually enjoyed chatting with him. We talked about some stuff earlier. Yeah, I really wish him a lot of luck because a lot of the stuff he posts, it's so backwards, right? When you really think about it, like you're posting stuff that's jiu-jitsu related, or it's technique, or it's a funny meme. He's actually trying to call out people for like,
yeah, bullshit.
Essentially, it's bullshit, and I feel I read some of the comments and they're like, oh, you stop calling out these people. They're trying to like do this, and the other people are like, oh man, this guy's trash, and it's like the comments where it's like, stop, trying to call out this person. It's like, I read it and I'm like, you don't realize how dangerous this can be for a community, and they give like there's a false sense of like understanding of what they're trying to do, and then all of a sudden they get hurt and it falls back on the coach.
I mean, like, there's so many of those videos that you see where they're like, this self-defense works in the street. Like, and it's like, no, it doesn't. Like, you're going to get someone killed. And then what?
It falls on you.
It's like, so, honestly, Rob is trying to save you. Relax.
Yeah.
He's saving the world.
Have you had him on the?
Not yet. Like, he's been on a friend's podcast
Yeah.
recently, and I was like, I need to reach out to that dude. Sometimes I feel weird about having certain guests on because it's like, hey, you guys are like real like podcasters and real hosts. I'm just a guy with some would you rather questions.
Yeah.
like, and like,
He's a real sweet guy though. I really
like we've talked. Actually, I have it's not down here. The McDojo Life gi upstairs.
Oh, I saw that one.
It's like I need to wear it more because it's like super. I haven't worn it because they're so bright and clean. I'm like, oh my god, like this shit's gonna blind people. Like, I wore it once to open mat on Sunday just to drill in.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, dude, it's a nice gi. Like, I love it. But it's one of those things where I was like, dude, I got to get this a little dingy. Like, I gotta roll around in the dirt, get this shit from being so fucking like bright.
That's why I remember one time I was rolling with Lathe, and you know how like sometimes we have fluorescent lights.
Yeah.
He wore like a tatami gi that was like pearly white, and then I remember being blinded by it. I was like, dude. We need to roll in the mud or something.
Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I can't see. Actually, well, I have a Hyperfly gi coming in, I think Monday. So, like, I need to chill too. Like, I ain't got room for gis. Fuck, I'm doing. Then I got to like figure out because I got to explain to Sarah where that came from. She's like, "Oh, you got a new gi and new comic books and new action figures, but we can't go to the beach." Fucking hate the beach.
Can't take me to Iceland? Come on now.
Oh, dude. She was like, if she wants to make that trip, because I think she needs to renew her passport.
Yeah.
So,
you know what I was thinking? Because like we were just talking about Ireland. I really want to take a trip to Ireland. I really wanted to do the Dublin Open, but it didn't match with my schedule. And plus, it'd be like a good trip to, go out there with like Allie and everything. But it's just, I don't know if it's money or time, but
like, it's funny doing the podcast and talking to different people in Europe, and I was like, I want to go visit them all. I'm just poor. But I need to start talking to people in Iceland because Iceland is obtainable. It's just like right there. So I don't know. We're about to make that happen. I mean, I would definitely like to go over to Ireland.
Iceland's obtainable.
I mean, it's like right there. Like I could throw a rock and hit it. But like, I want to go to Ireland for sure. I want to go to Sweden. It's just because I know people here at each of these spots. I have people in Madrid. I want to go visit them. You know, like one of my oldest friends from the internet world, fucking back to 2000, son, lives in London. We've been friends since, just always. I've watched their kids grow up, yo. These motherfucking kids are in their 30s. That shit is blowing my mind. She's got grandkids now. I think she's about to have a great grandkid now. Ooh. Like, yo, what? This is bonkers. I've known you that long. We old. So, but
we gotta start small. We gotta start with, if we want to do a jiu-jitsu trip, we gotta do the.
Well, we got to hit our taste swap. So we got to sit down. We'll sit down and have this talk now. I want to sit down and have some ramen. Sit there, talk some shit.
Dude, did you go to the one in Wall Chapel, the Akira place?
Sarah has been there. We were talking about it last night.
It's good.
I had a lot of conversation with Sarah last night. Those edibles was good.
That's where I want to take you on a date to. That's where I was going to take you to.
Son, so tomorrow I'm going with Winter to Akira in Colombia, actually. Well, like I texted her, I was like, yo, we getting food on Sunday, right? She goes, ramen. I was like, yeah, I get that. But like when and where? She was like, there's a little spot out in Colombia. I was like, okay, that's fine. I only 60% hate Colombia. She replied back, she was like, I 100% hate Colombia. Why are we going there? Like,
I went to Colombia for Devin's birthday. Devin lives in a nice neighborhood, right? But outside of his neighborhood, I'm like, yo, this place sucks. This place is ass.
Yo, Colombia is wild. Like, I get annoyed with it now just because it's like so many people there and so much happening, so much changing. But it's like, I remember when we moved here, you had to like take 29 to get to the mall. Mm-hmm. Like they didn't like complete like Broken Land, or I'm sorry, Cradle Rock. Well, no, Brooklyn. Broken Land Parkway. They didn't. It wasn't like completed to go straight to the mall yet.
Yeah.
So you had to like take 29 and drive around, and then it was like, yo, this is fucking goofy. But now it's like you go down there, go down to the mall downtown. It's just like, what the fuck is this?
It was weird. It was like half corporate, half suburban, half something else, farm, and I'm like, what? It's like, what's going on? And then like on my way to the mall, because I had to go get something. I had homeless people like constantly asking for change. I'm like, whoa, what?
Colombia is wild, yo. Like Colombia doesn't know what it wants to be. It's like Ed Norton left and they're like, we're confused. What do we do now? It's like we lost our star. He was like, fuck you guys. Apparently, I don't know if this is true, so I'm just spreading rumors. When like he made it big after Primal Fear, he tried to throw like a big party, like because he went to Wild Lake High School out in Columbia. I went to Oakland Mill, so kind of a rivalry thing, I guess. Some might brag, not me. But he tried to have a little party, and nobody showed up. It is like, ugh. There's probably always a dick on the set to everybody now.
You know what's crazy? So when I was younger, I used to hang out in Fort Washington a lot. And that's where Genuine was living at the time. And I remember I was like, elementary school or middle school? I'd be at my friend's house. And we would have our binoculars and spy on Genuine's house because he'd always have these parties, right? Yeah. And then while we're looking, we would always see like girls in bikinis like running across the hallway. He'd be chasing them and flaunting. Like he'd have like 3 girls around him and everything. And I'm like, whoa, this is better than porn.
I think, well, like, because it's like, it's tangible. It's like,
yeah,
these are like real people.
I'm like a 10-year-old looking like, whoa, this guy wrote Pony and he's making it happen. And I'm like, this is crazy.
And he's like, well, I aspire to be you, sir. Actually, there was a video, because motherfuckers is old now. There was like a video of him like doing a show recently.
I think
I was like, it's always weird because when you see a star at one point, it's always kind of etched. This is what they look like. When you see them older, it's like, oh, People do age. I
look
forget.
normal.
Like you are a normal human. Wait, there's a concert where we went to see a Bay Sox game, and I guess at the stadium,
Yeah.
there's gonna be like Color Me Bad, Vanilla Ice, All for One. Like, I was like, God damn. And then I was like, I want to go to this just to see who shows up.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go for the performances. I don't give a fuck about any of them. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, I think Sarah, like, she has the All for One CD or some bullshit. It's like, okay, relax. Like, fuck, all their fucking songs suck. I swear that fucking sucks. Get out of here. But I wanted to go see the crowds. I want to go see like who's showing up to see Vanilla Ice and Color Me Bad. I just gotta know. And is it really Color Me Bad, or is it just the two dudes? Because I know they did some shows where it was all four of them.
Yeah.
And then later on, it was like three of them. Then later on, it was just two of them. And then one of them was drunk on stage and attacked the other one. Yo, that 90s fame, that shit is wild. Yo, I wish I was famous in the 90s just so I could be fucking off the chain now.
But you know what's crazy? Like Ocean City, they have like this event where it's like a 3-day concert event, and you have like people who were famous, in, like Tracy Chapman, Alanis Morissette. Who else? You got I don't know if it was TLC, but there were some other bands or other singers that went out there too.
TC.
Surprise, motherfucker.
My apologies.
I didn't want to go that route. But
In case you're wondering, this is what our DMs look like. We're just randomly like
Dante.
saying dumb shit like this nonstop. So you're welcome.
But then it's like a lot of people from the like the 90s. It's like a huge event apparently, and people fucking hate you.
I'm just drinking water, man. Okay. Ocean City, big event.
I forgot what I was thinking.
2/3 of TLC. Tracy Chapman.
The yellow paint ranger popped up in my head.
Oh,
You started it. You for real started.
oh. Like, shout out to the Yellow Ranger. Rest in heaven. Like, actually, like, what? Like, have 3 Power Rangers died?
I think so. Yeah.
That's fucked up. You want to talk about cursed? Mm-hmm. Power Rangers. People don't believe in it, but no, it's only 3 of them. Never mind. It hasn't been like a lot of them though. So,
I mean, if you think about the generations, like it started with Mighty Morphin, and they've had like close to 20 generations that passed. And I mean, like some of them are like obviously like reoccurring characters, but
yeah,
still.
yeah. It's like I always get, because of like collecting, I always get asked about Power Rangers, and I just missed the window. Like, I stepped away from like afternoon television and action figures right when Power Rangers came into the fray, and I was like, no, I'm too grown. I gotta go to a keg party, and now here I am, 46 with a basement full of fucking action figures. Like, hey, you want to go to a keg party, bitch? I'm 46. I want to go buy some action figures. Where's Toys R Us? That's another weird one too. Like, people are like freaking out when Toys R Us closed. They're like, oh, my childhood. Bitch, you ain't been to Toys R Us since you're fucking 8.
You remember KB Toys?
Oh, boy, do I. Bought some Ninja Turtles there up in Columbia Mall.
I thought about, like, it was funny because I went to Target, and I remember, like, passing through this marketplace, and there were, like, old stores that I used to go to as a kid. So, but they were, I mean, I'm only thinking about it because that's where they're located. So, like, KB Toys was one of them. Toys R Us was one of them. Sports Authority was another. You remember Hex?
Yes.
This is it's all coming back.
You know, like, well, those are like all those old stores. When I first moved here, it was like, oh my God, there's Hex, like Heckingers. There's like KB Toy Stores, Pace. Like, which is like, whenever I mention Pace, and it's funny because like people who've lived here longer than me, I mention Pace and they're like, what?
Is Payless Shoes still a thing?
I don't know. Let's Google it, because I did Google earlier. I think they said the population of Sweden is 10 million. I'm like, they're lying. It's not.
What's another one I used to? AC Moore was another one.
AC Moore. No,
because I used to.
I just saw AC Moore. Oh no, because they're closing down.
Yeah,
he just recently started closing down.
Because that's the store I went to for my art supplies in school.
Let's see. Payless shoe looks like they are no longer in existence. Permanently closed.
Yeah.
Oh well.
It's another one.
I used to get some good shoes there. Used to get made fun of all the time. Payless shoes is why I got into fights. Like I didn't have good shoes, so I already knew walking in the door, I'm just swinging.
You know what's crazy? This day and age, though, the equivalent of that is like what, like Ross and TJ Maxx and Marshalls.
Maybe I would say so, but I fucks with those because
everyone shops there now.
Yeah, you get action figures there on fucking discounts, yo.
Okay, Dante, you got a problem.
So
I see what Sarah means.
that middle shelf there was a 5-pack, right? That joint on Amazon, when that joint hit, it was like 120. So I was like, I got to pre-order this shit because that shit's not going to be available anywhere. Nah, Cats got that shit at Ross for $25 last week. I was like, these motherfuckers, yo. Like, and I mean, if they're smart, you know, if you're working for like fucking Amazon or something, go buy a bunch of them, then just go sell them on Amazon for like 100. It was like, you know, just go buy all of them for $25. Like, let me buy
Is eBay still being used like commonly or no? It's all about Amazon now, right?
I mean, every time I get a package it's from eBay, but I'm buying comic books though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I use eBay for like if I'm trying to find like some shit that probably can't be found on Amazon at a reasonable price. I use Amazon when like I want some shit. Like I don't like when I look at Amazon. If I see some shit that says I can get that shit by 2:00 today, I don't even need it, but I'm gonna order it just because I know I can get it by 2:00. Hey, like some Glade plugins, you get them by 2:00. All right, I don't need them, but I'm gonna get them. You even have a Glade fucking plugin? Nope, but I'm gonna order that shit. Like I be ordering action figures I don't even want because I can get it by 2:00. Like I looked at that shit before you came over. I was sitting here looking at Amazon. I was like, dude, I don't even need new microphones, but I can get it by 2:00. I should do it. It's like in like late night, sitting in bed looking at my phone on Amazon. If it says I get that shit by 7 a.m., I'm ordering. I'm already on my way to sleep anyway. I'm just gonna hit, buy now, and wake up, walk out the door for work, and pick up my earnings. And go. Half the time I don't even need whatever it's in. It's like, like order, whatever, some fucking puzzle mats. Do you need them? No. Order a jump rope. Do you need it? No. All right, order it. 4 years. This is what we've come to. Anyhow, in 4 years, let's bring it back to earth. Let's bring it to grappling. We're 4 years in doing this podcast. We've been doing jiu-jitsu. How's your jiu-jitsu feeling lately?
You know what's crazy? Because I've come to a point where when I first started jiu-jitsu, it's like I want to get to that next belt really fast. I want to do this really fast and everything. And it's tough because like you got peers like my main training partner Brandon Epps. He's really good in the gi. He's a world champ and previous belts and everything. And he's a brown belt now, and he started maybe 7 or 8 years ago officially as a white belt. Yeah. Right. Like he was daddling, like he was just messing around when he was living in the West Coast, but now he's like a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and having him as a training partner is good. And then when you look at him as a peer, it's like, man, I really want to be the next belt fast. And for me, I started like officially like maybe like 4 years ago, basically when COVID started. Yeah. And it's so interesting because I see peers getting to the next belt so fast. And thinking about it, it always kind of bothered me in a sense, which is why I'm always trying to make these, trying to make it a class at certain times. I'm always competing because in a sense I came to the realization I'm competing a lot because it's a personal goal of mine to get better quick and kind of understand the game faster. And so, but I've realized, I'm not too worried about getting to the next belt as much as I used to be, right? When I was like a 2-year blue belt, I was like, holy shit, I need to be a purple belt real soon. But now it's kind of like I'm enjoying learning different shit now. Like I enjoy seeing what my teammates do, and I kind of enjoy like it's kind of like the process is more fun, and it kind of eliminates the negative thoughts or the egotistic thoughts of the journey, right? Which is like everyone's always like, I'm a white belt, I'm going to be a blue belt, I'm going to be top dog and shit. I'm like, no, dude, it's really not that much. It gets better because you gain understanding, but in terms of your ego, it doesn't really do much for you, right? You're still going to get humble. You're still going to be like, wow, I don't know shit. But that's kind of like the best part about it is when you realize you don't know shit and you get to learn something new. And then it's like, this is why you got into jiu-jitsu, because I mean, for me, it's always been a fun, like physical competitive mind game, right? It's all about countering. It's not just about like being strong and being athletic. You also kind of get to see like the pure essence of jiu-jitsu and how it counters against like bigger opponents or smaller opponents, and kind of figuring out what you get to do from there. And I've been enjoying that a lot because like recently I found out I do really well against bigger guys. It's actually the smaller guys I have a tough time against. And it's like I've never experienced that before, and it's kind of new. And now I got to work on a game plan to really figure out how to beat like these Gumby people who could like invert and like go for different attacks versus like the big heads who are like, let me just bum rush you and tackle you, and I'm like, all right, well, you could do that. That's what my game plan is around.
Yeah, and I was just going to ask, is like with the smaller grapplers, like what is it that's problematic with them?
A lot of it's like they hit bigger guys don't hit the angles smaller guys can, right? So they're able to get to my legs faster. They're able to like invert. They're able to like a lot quicker. Different angles, which is basically like essentially like what I find to be the best point in the game is like if you could go perpendicular and attack from those angles, whether you're passing or at bottom, that's a problem, right? Versus someone who's going headstrong against you, like spine to spine and parallel. You could as a big guy, right? I find that that's easier to handle, whether they're hunkering down or standing up. It's when they're able to invert and attack your limbs from different angles is where it becomes an issue. And I think that's like the next step in my game, right? Like, how do I deal with these smaller guys who can do that? I get it. Like, people are like, oh, you should just like squash them and sit, like, like be heavy on them and everything. And I'm like, that's great. But these guys are still strong. They're still able to like extend you. They're still able to entangle you, right?
That's as you're saying, I was like, yeah, I mean, like trying to squish them is one thing, but they're still moving. It's not as simple as like just
it's not that simple.
It's like because like whenever I roll with anybody smaller, it like I kind of don't like I don't mind rolling with anybody, but it does kind of get annoying. Like it's like okay, because there's this ideal like I'm bigger than them. I should be able to control this person. It's like no. like I said, they're strong, they're flexible, they're always moving. There's like the smaller cats, they know they can't sit still. So there's no such thing as getting side control on them. You're not hitting even close.
Especially when they have good guard. I remember Gordon Ryan said something about Mikey, and he was saying like Mikey has one of the best guard retentions in the world, and I couldn't even I had the hardest time getting past his guard, and I never was successful in getting past his guard. Like I got close, but he was so flexible, so mobile, and able to get different retentions and going back into attacking. It was hard, and like he won by just like advantage, like maybe smash passing, but from half. You know what I mean? I don't remember, but he was saying like I never even got past his guard, and like when you think about it, Gordon Ryan is like 220 and like stocky and big. Maybe at the time he was like 190, 200, but
still bigger than
that's still way bigger than Mikey, who was fighting way under at the time. So, and I'm finding that out too. Like recently, like man, these guys are actually really hard to go against because they're doing stuff you're not used to in a room. Like in the room, I would always train with bigger guys because I was training for my weight class. Now I'm realizing like, okay, now I can't be like, I gotta fight against everyone.
Well, you know, and that's just the thing though too. Like, say you're training for, you know, what you be competing against, but you know, like in your average room, like everybody trains with everybody.
Yeah,
it's like that's the benefit to it. Is like
Yeah.
you're learning something new. You know, you might go with somebody smarter, like, you know, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then you go over that. Now you add that to your game. Now you're going against a bigger dude doing the shit that the smaller guy doing. It's
Yeah.
like, and then also that's the thing too, is like when you're competing, if you're going against a bigger dude that's now doing some of the shit that the smaller folks are doing, it's like, okay, well, I've been here before.
Yeah.
It's just on a smaller person, but
Yeah.
you know.
And that's what I'm thinking too. Like smaller people in the room, they will go against bigger guys, and they're comfortable with it. But like from habit, what I've seen, like usually the bigger guys only go with the bigger guys. Like 200 and up, usually only stay with 200 and up, because in their mind, it's like we don't see a point of training with someone who's like 150 because we're just going to squash him. I mean, you could think that, but again, like in competition, it's also kind of different, you know. Those guys are their whole mindset is entirely different. It's not like in the training room where you could like flow, or you're not going 100, right? You're maybe going like 80%, or maybe at most like 95. But those guys out there in competition, and there's the smaller guys, they're out there trying to rip something off you. They have that intent, and that's what they're training to do.
Yeah. I remember back in the Ivy League days. I mean, it was like, you know, everybody rolled everybody.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, and even still, that's how it is now, Crazy 88. But I remember when we kind of transitioned, and I remember being in one of the bigger rooms, and it wasn't necessarily called out. Bigger guys rolling with smaller, smaller guys, but it was like, you know, roll with somebody your size.
Yeah.
You know, try
Yeah.
to get, and you know, and I get that, but it's like normally, like I would train with Naomi, so I was like, oh shit, I gotta go with somebody my size. And now I'm looking around, I was like, I don't even know what that means. Who's my size? It's like, because like I always consider myself, you know, one of the fluffier guys in the room.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, you want to be my partner? And you're like, what the fuck? You call me fat? Like, no. I'm just, I mean, you look strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, like you'll see, like, you know, the bigger guys just kind of primarily sticking to, like, it's almost like the smaller person has to call out the bigger guy to get that role, because if we call out, you know, the smaller person's like, it looks a certain kind of way, but it's like in reality though, it's like, look, we're all just here to grapple, we're all here to learn. So, you know, as long as you're not like, I'm going over there to roll with that little person so I can smash the fuck out, it's like, I'm going to roll with them because, you know, this is an opportunity to learn. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to, you know, going to be fun. Keep it fun. Yeah,
and I'm trying to like get over certain things about that too, because I should be rolling guys my size too, but again, I'm coming across this problem where like the smaller guys are hitting different angles on me, or entangling me a lot different, right? It's like, who is a good example? I'm going to use CH because technically he's my size. He's 190 also, around that weight class. I'm like 5 pounds, like around, like heavier than him. And he's really good about leg entanglement. I don't think he inverts as much. So I don't get what I experienced recently at this last New Jersey, where the guy was able to like go off in a different angle and get a triangle. You know what I mean? And versus like CH, I mean, he's good about that too, but he's actually someone who's willing to invert under and attack legs and attack, you know, basically like make you work into different positions you're not comfortable with. And I know some people in the room also have a hard time, like Brandon Epps, he tells me he still has a hard time with CH because, like, again, CH is willing to like extend you out, take those different perpendicular angles that you're not used to. Yeah. And people, again, like people in a way heavier weight class, they like to fight very parallel. And a lot of the successful guys you see, who are high level, they're able to like go off into like a different angle that you're not used to.
Yeah, that's a thing that I always have with CH2. And I'm not used to it because it's like straightforward. And this dude is like, okay, rock over this way, and now he's rolling behind
you. The way
he
unbalances you is so, and especially because he has longer limbs too, right? So that works well for him. And to be honest, it's what he should do anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I have any relative success with CH is when I'm able to like trap his legs.
Yeah.
As soon as I take his legs away from him, I mean, he's still working. He's still fucking me up.
Yeah.
It's like, I got your legs. It's like, I know you're about to fucking choke me, but you ain't gonna use your legs in this game. Like, you just gonna have to use your arms. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm a little dumb, so like, you go ahead and try to choke me if you want. I'll go to sleep. I ain't scared.
One thing I've been working on against CH and a lot of other people, because I'm trying to make this consistent, is just being more active in my passing. So learning how to just not just horizontal pass, bullfight pass, but also going like duck unders. Maybe trying to like basically going left and right, being so active about it, because you're not good at passing if you're just going to go for one side. So one thing I'm trying to work better on is trying to attack both sides as I pass.
Yeah, that's. I know CH wasn't giving me a hard time about it, but he was kind of like encouraging me.
Yeah.
As I was passing, I was going one way, and it was kind of like, okay,
He's such a good fucking teammate too.
dude. Well, it's funny because I always on Saturdays when we stay after for open mat,
Yeah.
I always just roll with him first because he's standing out of weight and nobody's going over. I'm like, fine, I'll CH. It's our weekly thing.
Yeah.
Let's just go first, get it out the way.
Yeah.
But he's always good about it because there are times where like he knows my moveset now. He knows what I do.
Yeah.
So it's like if he sees me doing something different, he kind of lightens up, lets me kind of work it a little bit.
Yeah.
Versus if I'm doing the shit that I normally do, he's like, nope, I'm going to resist that a lot harder. We're going to really fight. We're going to work. But if he sees me trying something a little different, he gives me a little bit of leeway, up to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that about him. But it's like, but then sometimes with CH, it's like, all right, I just got to go to reliable. Let me go ahead and fucking trap these legs and fucking pressure pass around. I can't deal with this right now, CH. There was one class, and I know we were doing King of the Hill. He was exhausted. He had been there the whole time. And Mahoney goes, all right, water break. Like, whoever can get CH out. Like, we're not going for water break until somebody gets CH out.
Yeah.
And actually, he's exhausted. I'm exhausted. I was like, dude, I want some water. And I went over and just like fucking bum rushed him. I was like, no. Like, I need to get water. I think he was feeling that way too, because it was one of those things where it's like, I'm going to work really, really hard. He was like, I'm going to work just hard enough to make it look like I'm working. And I got the pass. I was like, okay. I hugged him. I was like, thank you. Like, I just want water. Like, let us out of here. Not that he gave up, but he was like, you can see he was like, God damn it. It had to be like 7 to like 10 rounds.
Oh wow.
I'm just looking at this dude like, because he was just going through everybody, and then he had a couple tough ones in there. And then I think I had one round with him where it was kind of a like just roundabout like stalemate to some degree,
Mm-hmm.
and then I do the typical Dante, like I just forget. I don't like post. It's like, oh, I got swept. Like, darn. Which it's fine. It's just what I do. But it's like that's one of the things with him though. It's like he's not there like with the ego.
Yeah.
Like, where it's like, I got to be better than you.
Yeah.
It's like he's there with the purpose of like experimenting and working on things, and also trying to help you as a teammate.
Yeah.
Well, because like he's worked on some things, and like afterward, like he'll come over to me and tell me like, the one thing you're trying to do, like if you maybe adjust this, and then do that, and then like here, come here, like, and then he'll let me drill. I'm like, dude, like, thank you. That's not to say other teammates, aren't cool like that too, but my experience with him is more plentiful. So I always see that with that dude, and then he wrist locks me. So it's like I say all these nice things, and then remember the dude will wrist lock me without hesitation. And now he's been fucking with me with him now, such as you. Like last week, he grabbed, like he kind of like just like the little flinch. And I was like, oh, you motherfucker.
You know what's crazy though? In my close guard game, I started wrist locking people, not with the intent of with the intent of wrist locking. Like if I get it, fuck it, good, I get it. But there's so many wrist locks from close guard where you can manipulate in the limb. But ideally, what I want is to just like make them back off.
Yeah. Well, like, Andy, he says it wasn't intentional. he wrist locked me last week. He was like, I wasn't even going for the wrist lock. I was like, sure you weren't, buddy, because I would have. Who did I try to wrist lock last week? Oh, Rich.
Look at you. You're becoming a monster. You're the one who's trying to wrist lock her.
Because of you and CH. I didn't choose this, okay? You chose this for me.
Technically, Epps and Baird started this.
That's true, because, Baird.
This is the 2024 meta for old guys like us.
Dude, like, last year,
King of wrist locks.
when I was still doing the Wednesday morning classes, I rolled with Baird. I don't know how many times he wrist locked me. But it was like from different angles. It was like
He loves it.
it was like this dude was like using telekinesis to fucking wrist lock me at this point. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. And I think that might have been no. My last class was when I had the groin injury, but it was like close to like my last class there. And I was like, I don't know with Barrett anymore. I'm getting wrist locked, but yeah, doing Sunday open mat with Epps, he was like, "Come here, Dante. I want to drill some wrist locks." Like, what the fuck? Who's drilling wrist locks? Oh, you dickhead! You're drilling wrist locks. But now that's what, and I'm just going for like the straight basic, trap the elbow, just bend that shit. And what was it? I get Rodney a lot. Like, but he goes for him now on me. So it's just like it's a growing culture. It's a growing culture. I got Rich. Like I was certain I had him. I went and then he didn't tap. I was like, okay, that's fucked. I was like, he's not tapping. All right, that makes me uncomfortable. Like then like one of those like teens, like that big kid. I don't even know his name, but that boy's big. I had to wrist lock him because he was fucking me up. Like
he plays football.
Yeah, duh. Like I'd be mad if he didn't play football. Like I couldn't do shit to him. Like he big, he fucked me up. Like
you know what's crazy? He goes to Bear's class, and Bear was I think working a takedown class, right? And so he was like, all right, so I came in fresh, meaning like I literally just got there with the intent of going to the 8 o'clock class. That was the 7 o'clock one. He said, Mark, can you go with this kid? I said, sure. He said, all right. He told the kid to like pick up my leg and put it over his shoulder and take me down. And I said, you motherfucker. Why would you do this to my old ass? This little 16-year-old boy who's already twice my size.
Like when we were doing grip fight on Saturday morning.
He's already taller than me too.
Yeah, dude, that he's a giant. Like he got my lapel one day and trying to fucking break that grip. I was like, dude, I just got to wait for him to fuck up. Like I got to wait for him to adjust.
He's a sweet kid though.
That's
super sweet.
That's the
very
thing that's
nice
so,
boy.
Like fucking deceptive. Is like he's a sweetheart.
Soft spoken. He calls you sir and
yeah.
very respectful. But then he tries to he'll try to tackle you through the wall.
Well, and that's why I had the wrist
like,
lock.
I don't have the football. What are you doing wrong?
It's like, dude, the play is over. Like, no, he like what? I think, because he didn't know how to get a takedown.
Yeah.
Like, and it was like, so I told him, I was like, while we were doing grip fight, I was like, get your grips here. At the very, he was trying to like, sweep me.
I had to help him with that last week too, because I told him like you don't always have to like hold the grip. You could also disengage too if someone has dominant grips, and I had to explain to him what dominant grips are.
Yeah, like he with me, that's what he kept doing too. Is like he just held on for dear life. I was like, okay, like
you want the forearm workout, sure, but
yeah, it's like, well, also it's like you're not really doing anything. You're just holding me, and then he learned to snap down, and then I learned that my neck really did need chiropractic work. Like, but that was the only thing he had, so he kept trying to snap me down. It was like, and I was like, okay, you gotta add some like foot sweeps in there too. He was like, so he starts doing that, and I was like, okay. Then now when we get to a live roll later in the day, he's doing that. I was like, look, I'm not gonna fucking fight this dude. I'm just gonna fucking go to turtle. Fucking mistake with that kid, because like though he doesn't know what to do, he's still like got a knee wedge in there, and and a little knee. Like that knee hit my ribs.
He's already over 6 foot tall, and he's only 15. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, I remember asking him, I was like, dude, how old are you? He goes 15, like super soft, so 15. I was like, whew, okay. All right. Like now when I go with him, before he even gets a grip, I just go for a single leg. I get at least a leg and just fuck with him. I'm like, look, you ain't gonna fucking boss hog me today. You snap my neck. I'm like we both fall into this ground. And when I had to wrist lock him, he had me in side control, and there was nothing I could do. Like, I'm sure like there are plenty of great grapplers that know what to do. Not me. I'm not a great grappler. I'm just Dante. And I'm sitting there like, yo, this motherfucker. So he had his hand on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Like I telephoned that motherfucker and grabbed his elbow and he's ouch. I was like, yeah. Fuck up off me. And I ran over to him. I was like, I got a wrist lock on another little kid. I got a wrist lock on a kid. He's like, are you wrist locking white belt? I was like, he's not a white belt. Look at that boy. He's big. That's a big boy. And then the time was about to run. I was like, all right, tap hands again. I was like, all right. It's like at that point I just ran from him. Like you fucking grab me again, get me on the ground, just fucking hold me, because it's unlikely he's gonna make that same mistake twice, because he hasn't done it again since. So it's like, all right, I got to come up with something new for this kid. Like, maybe I could, like, trick him into a triangle. I don't fucking know. Like, he don't know a lot of things yet. But yeah, like, and every time I talk to him, I'm like, dude, please stay with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Cause
I think he enjoys it. I mean, he's been training hard in jiu-jitsu. I think it's a way for him to take a break from football, too. Because I think that's his main sport, you know. That's what his dad has him doing that. So, and he's strong. He wants to learn like the technical aspects.
I'm glad I looked over at the computer. I didn't have the the power outlet turned on, so the battery was about to run out. We was about to abruptly end. I was like, "Why is that red light flashing?" Oh shit! Yeah, like, whenever I see his parents there on Saturday mornings, yeah, you can see us. I was like, "Oh, that's a football dad right there," but. It's like good for him, like he's expanding out away from just football, things, because you want to have options on your physical, your physical health, your physical abilities, and what you do. And football's brutal.
Yeah, it is. I actually wanted to play football, but my parents are Asian, so they made me play piano and tennis. I almost learned the violin. Almost became a nurse or a doctor.
You didn't have to add the Asian part.
It's true though. I literally went for the wrestling club and the football team because I wanted to. I really enjoyed playing football. Like growing up, like I was an inner city kid, right? So I did nothing but play football, basketball. You didn't have
a choice.
Yeah, that's literally what I was given, right? So I enjoyed that the most. But then like when I would when I presented the ideal to my parents, they were like, no, because I think at the time that happened, some kid actually, like, I think he fell on his head and became at lost feeling in his leg. I forgot what is it, quadriplegic or whatever. Yeah, something.
What is a quadriplegic? Like all
four? Yeah, basically he had to be in a wheelchair and he couldn't move, and so they're like, oh, there's head injuries and neck injuries, and I'm like, true.
There is, but they're also not.
You want me to play other sports and everything. So I don't know why I went with tennis. I think
tennis is like, I don't know. I used to play tennis. Funsies.
I played tennis for a long time. I started really young, and then I went to Salisbury to play tennis, and then I did club tennis, and then I did like.
Dude, that sounds Asian as shit.
I know.
Like I only played tennis up until high school. And they're like, here, take this football.
But that's the thing. Like, I didn't realize the whole, like, because in Southern PG area, there's a huge tennis community, right? So guys from, like dudes from Towson would play, people from Howard would play. So there's actually a huge tennis community all the way from Southern PG all the way to, like, Fairfax County. So I was all over just playing tennis. And it was kind of fun. Like, it's similar to jiu-jitsu, right? For me, it's, like, a way to, like, plan and counterattack. It's like it's a stimulating mind sport that involves physical activity.
Yeah, like people, it is funny. Like anyone who's outside of a sport, they just see one thing. Like when you're watching tennis, all you see is the oh, it's just a back and forth thing. Like, no, there's a lot of strategy to it.
There's a lot, right? They manipulate the way the ball spins and stuff like that. One of the things that I found out like midway through my tennis career is that like people usually play with the shadows of the court too. And it's just like people don't think about that. They think it's just like, oh, they're just hitting it back and forth. And like, no, they're sometimes hiding the balls in the shadow because of the way the stadiums are built.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, when I moved here, it was in Delaware. I played tennis a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, because nobody else played tennis. Like, I had a tennis racket. Like, I had tennis rackets. So of course, as kids, like, they did play tennis because it was like, hey, let's go play tennis.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to play tennis, motherfucker. You gonna play tennis? Take this motherfucking racket. There are a lot of tennis courts around though in Newark, Delaware, which is weird. But I remember coming here and no one was feeling it.
Yeah.
No one at all. I was like, y'all trying to play tennis? Nah, son. Let's go play basketball. Like, I mean, I could do that too.
Yeah.
But y'all want to play tennis. And I remember in 8th grade, our social studies teacher, she played tennis. So at some point, and I get it now, being older and having like, taught and everything, is like, now I get it. She just had like a chapter. It was like, well, we're just going to play tennis. Now you was like, I ain't got a lesson plan for the week. So we do tennis. I get it. I get it now. But she was basically like, took us up to the tennis court and was like, look, if anybody can beat me, you get an A for the semester.
Yeah.
Boy, I tried. Like, I was working. Like, because again, no one else there had played tennis. They didn't know. Like, she's fucking lobbing like serves at them. They're like, oh shit. Like, at least I could like return the shit.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have much. It's like I didn't have much after that. It was like, ooh, like kind of rattled. Like, okay, oh shit, that comes back faster again. Okay, all right, fine. Like, can I get some credit for at least returning your fucking serve?
Yeah. Like
Something, because the other motherfuckers were just dodging that shit like it was a fucking bullet coming at them. I was like, okay, I'll fire back. There's no volley. Because she was like, oh, you want to play? Wow. Like, no, I don't want to play. I do not want to play. I only had one enemy. Like, that's all. I don't have much more. But it would have been fun to continue to pursue that.
I think the reason why I continued to pursue it was because there was a lot of guys playing on the senior tour, in the leagues and everything. These guys are like 75 years old and they're running back and forth for the ball. And they're like, if you play tennis right, it actually can just be your lifelong sport. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of damage if you take it easy on your body and stuff like that. And I find that to be very true. Like, I'm playing with guys who are like well into their 60s and they're still hitting the ball like in a comfortable manner. They're still able to like get some cardio in.
Yeah, I mean, and it's similar, like you said, to jiu-jitsu in that regard too, where it's like this could be something you do for a very long time.
Yeah, and I actually use tennis to actually train for jiu-jitsu because, again, like one thing that's big in tennis is lateral movement, right? You're moving back and forth, well, side to side too. Yeah, and like when the way I try to move in jiu-jitsu now is I try to move more lateral to approach different ways to pass now. And so I feel like that's been helping a lot with me, especially in the no-gi aspect, because like, there's not a lot of grips.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that makes sense. So way to connect the sports there, Mark. Way to connect them. Because you always hear, like, I don't want to say you always hear, but I just recently heard again for the first time in a long time, there's no such thing as cross training. The best way to train for your sport is to, do your sport. And,
yeah.
I mean, there's truth to that.
There is, yeah.
You can also, maybe not directly say, hey, for jiu-jitsu, I'm going to go play some tennis.
Yeah.
It's like, on the bigger scale of it, doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem like it. But there are little details, like you said, with your lateral movement, your back and forth movement, and for sure.
It's cardio that's not running. Like, no one really likes running. That shit's boring. Right?
Not if you're watching The Sopranos. I get on this treadmill and I put on an episode of Sopranos, put that shit on 5 and just go.
I used to run marathons and I actually, it was boring for me, but it was also therapeutic. I would say that. Like when I was running, it was a way for me to actually be healthy and also kind of like, it was a stress relieving activity, right? Like no one's bothering me. I'm just listening to my music and kind of enjoying the weather.
When you listen to like run or in any activity for that matter, and you're listening to music or podcasts off the mats, do you like Are you focused, or do you kind of
Dude,
drift out and then come back? Oh shit, I missed.
It's literally, bro. It literally depends on the day, right? So sometimes, like, if I'm training for a tournament, and I'll listen to like some I'll listen. It depends, right? Sometimes if I'm, especially when I'm training for a tournament, like recently I've been listening to like Big Sean Precision.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a pretty good song, and like I'll listen to like Meek Mills, Kendrick. I'll listen to, some of those guys, and then I'll literally be like focused for what I want to do. I'll do like little what's it called, mental repetitions of the moves I want to work on and stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing when I'm running. But if I'm just running just to like, kind of stress relieve and everything, I'll listen to some Troye Sivan, Doja Cat.
Dude, I already said I go to sleep listening to Mariah Carey sometimes.
Mariah Carey is one I listen to.
Like sometimes
Chaperone, I'm listening to them. So
like there's certain days I be in the van at work, and I know the dudes be hating this shit. Like, yo, we about to listen.
Cher.
Like we about to listen to some Kelly Clarkson today. And they be like, ugh, not again.
Katy Perry sometimes.
Oh yeah, I've been on a Katy Perry kick lately. Like that.
Carly Rae Jepsen.
First two albums.
Kylie Minogue.
Oh yeah. I used to listen to a lot of that, like poppy music though.
Yeah.
Before class.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, I remember I used to listen to like DMX.
Yeah.
Like Wu-Tang before class, and I get like amped up. And then there's this like dump, this adrenaline dump that comes with it, and then I fuck up. Whereas if I go in, I listen to Sade before I get in.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm calm, I'm relaxed. Then as the training kind of progresses, now the music is in there is going, I can kind of start ramping up with the music.
Yeah.
And then I get to a point about 3/4 of the way through the class where I feel relatively like good in the mental space versus like before it's like, I come in, I'm all riled up and it's like, and crash.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because like when I first started, when in competition, right, I would always listen to stuff like heavy stuff before coming in, but I didn't. I did it because I wanted to get myself pumped up for a competition. The issue with that is like I'm putting so much pressure on my training where I wasn't enjoying it. So there was like this balance that wasn't working out for me, where like, oh, I'm getting, I'm gonna do fucking great today. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna work on my game and shit like that. And sometimes you have a good day, you have a bad day, and sometimes getting yourself amped up like that, for me personally, and you get your ass whooped. Like there was one day I was just getting submitted nonstop, and I just came home. I was just feeling like, what the fuck did I do in practice today? Did I even get better? And again, like for me, I compete, but I'm also competing because I want to get better, right? So it's whether win or lose, I'm still trying to like make it a goal to like be really good at this, or even remotely like somewhat good. But sometimes because I'm listening and I'm amping myself up so much, I feel so empty after class. But now recently, like I started listening to stuff where it's poppy and it's uplifting and it's stuff like that. And I'm actually able to enjoy, like, even though like I go to class with the intent of like, I'm going to get something out of this, right? I still want to go with a good attitude coming into class, right? Because I don't want to feel like I'm just here just to learn how to compete. I'm going to class because I want to like enjoy jiu-jitsu as a sport, not just as a competitor, but also as like someone who just enjoy the martial arts. And it's been way better for my own mental health, honestly, because now I could go home feeling like this is good. I learned something new. Maybe I got my ass kicked, but that's fine because I learned something that I could use in my game, or something that I could learn from others. I feel better essentially at the end of the day.
I haven't had a class. Well, let me rephrase that. I haven't had, like leaving class. I always feel good.
Yeah.
But it's been a while since like I, just left where I felt like completely dejected and just like, why am I fucking doing this? Like nothing. I gained nothing from this.
Yeah.
Whereas like lately. Well, when I say late, I mean like the last year, because I've been going consistently for the last year at least. Because there was a period where I was like, I get in where I can.
Yeah.
And now it's like I know I could do every Saturday morning now.
Yeah.
I know I have that. I can get some of those Friday nights in there. And it's like, okay, I got these. I can do these. And since that, no matter what happens in class, I leave feeling like, okay,
Yeah.
I learned something. I grabbed something from that. And now let's, like if it's Friday night class, I'm going to carry this into Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's Saturday. It's like, okay, I might come in Sunday and drill it,
Mm-hmm.
but there's always that new feel now of like, like
Yeah.
positivity.
And that's why I recently I started changing the my music, the way I was listening to things, because then like I don't realize this, like I'm amping myself up because I'm feel like I'm gonna kill it in class, but like why am I trying to kill it in class when I'm going into a community where we're all just trying to enjoy the sport, learn together, even as competitors and hobbyists, we're still just there to like enjoy jiu-jitsu and be within a good community. So why am I trying to like feel like why am I putting myself like stressing myself out over it? Because it's just class, right? At the end of the day, you're going because you want to get better, but you also, I mean, let's be real, like you're part of a community you want to be involved with.
Yeah.
And it's true, like I mean, after practice, we'll get drinks, or like we'll just review what we did wrong, or like it's the community you're in is uplifting. So why am I trying to like pressure myself into like not enjoying it?
It's like Allen Iverson said, we talk about practice. Just practice. It took me a while to kind of get to that place in my mind with it, because it was like me showing up, like not thinking like, oh, I'm going to beat someone's ass, or like I'm better than anybody. But it took me a while to kind of grasp the ideal of like, I'm coming here to learn, like off my teammates and build.
Yeah.
Versus like I'm just coming in here to learn from me.
Yeah.
Like, whereas like as the years went on, it became I'm coming in here to learn with my team.
Yeah.
And build with my team, and it's not a selfish thing. It's not like, and I do you think some of like the BJJ Wiki stuff kind of played into that a little bit with like me reposting stuff? There was an ideal like, well, if I'm reposting something, it's like lately I've been posting some Kimura stuff because it's like, well, we've been working on Kimura stuff. Well, actually, there was one video. I think I deleted it. I didn't post it, but I had it in my queue.
Yeah.
It might still be there. So it was basically like doing a rolling Kimura. Like, well, did we do it last week? I don't know if we did. Where basically, as Mahoney was saying, we have our entries, to get to it, and I like doing like the rolling Kimura, like fake like you're going for the guard pass. They plant the hand, and then you do the flip over.
Yeah. Okay.
Someone posted a video. It basically was like rolling Kimura to back take.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's cool. So
Wait, did you post that? I thought.
So I posted something else that actually played into that, but there's one that I had that wasn't quite it. It says it, but then I looked at the video, and it was not quite what it said it was. It was, but it wasn't. Like, basically, he's rolling over. He grabs for the Kimura grip, but he lets go. Granted, he's doing it slow motion. He places his hand on the mat, and I was like, nope, I'm not posting that. Like, because I already know I'm going to get roasted in the comments for
but now, like,
yeah.
Why would you post this? This person's obviously gonna.
Like, I mean, you're already over.
Yeah.
You've already got him. Keep that Kimura alive.
Yeah.
And then.
But that's good though. You kind of identify like what's good content and what isn't.
Sometimes. Sometimes I just posting shit. I'm like, oh, it's 2:30. I gotta post. Like, this seems good. Like, didn't even look at the video. Don't even know what it is. Just like, gotta post it. Like, and then I see the comments, like 75 comments. They must really like. They don't like it. Like, but it's too late. I've already posted other stuff after it. I'm not taking it down. Sorry, I don't take down posts. Well, I do, but it's not because of.
It's I know.
Like, it's because I did something stupid, and I was like, oh shit, that's out of order. Let me take that down. But someone's like, this content sucks. Oh really? Well, I'm gonna post more of this content, bitch, because I'm a child.
And you're petty.
Oh fuck yes. Dude. So I told Sarah about this. I still have the account. I think it's called BJJ Eats, or it might be BJJ Diet. I can't remember.
I thought it was Eats.
It might be Eats. I can't remember because I haven't gone to it in a while. It's still active.
Yeah.
Like I go there every so often just to make sure. But there's this lady. I reposted one of her recipes, and she attacked. She came at me like long message, and I was like, and I saw it, and I was like, okay. And I took down her content. I was like, whatever. I keep the message though, because I'm going to reply one day. Wait, bitch, shut the fuck up. I told her, I was like, I should just do that tomorrow. She was like, why? I was like, because I'm petty. I was like, but what does it benefit anyone? It's not benefiting anyone. That's the point of being petty, isn't to benefit anyone. It's to remind that person that, hey, this was 4 years ago. I didn't forget. I'm here, bitch. I don't know. I am going to reply to her. I just don't know when. Because it's like, I don't even know what her fucking problem was about it. She was like, I don't know. She's like, and all your hashtags have nothing to do with anything. It was like, actually, no, I hashtag all your ingredients, dummy. Like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like, if you don't want your content up, just say, hey, could you please remove that? Because
just take it down.
There's one young lady. I haven't posted her in a while on BGG Wiki. It's super generic, blonde. It was a blonde girl. I was like, oh, okay, that's super descriptive, Dante. But I can't remember her name right now. But I put up a post, and I had added use my promo code for this product, and she messaged me privately. It was like, hey, could you take down the promo code part? Like, I don't mind you using my content, just don't use me to advertise or promote stuff. And I was like, oh, sure, absolutely, I understand completely. I got you. That's all it took. Just see how polite that was. She said that politely to me, and I said, okay, word. Versus like writing like a fucking essay to me about.
Yeah, it's just like, why don't you approach someone?
Yeah, just say, hey, could you not
like
do
a
that?
normal human being.
There's some other young lady. I call her by young lady now, and young man because I'm old as fuck. With this young lady, she's probably older than me actually, but that's still, you always got to try to pick your allies.
Yeah.
It's like, but she had put up a picture of something, so I reposted it. I didn't know that it was hers though. I got it from someone else, and then she actually attacked me. And then I took a step in the direction of maturity. And I go, well, no. So just so you know, if you look at the post, it says that I reposted it from this person. That's all I know. I just reposted. I'm not doing a deep dive into where the content comes from. I see somebody posted something. I liked it. I'm going to repost it from there. Yeah. That's all there is to it. I'll be happy to credit you, though, because it is your content.
Yeah.
But just for future reference, like, just ask me or let me know that it was yours, and I'll change it. And she was cool. She was cool after that. I think I did end up eventually deleting her. Then it was very recent. She posted something. I was like, a little suspect there. I don't think we align in the same.
At least
words.
the interaction became positive.
But she was cool about it. And that's the thing. Like, most folks on social media are cool about things. Most are cool, as long as you approach them properly. I mean, and it especially goes with like posting technique videos. Like, the thing that stresses me out like a lot with posting technique stuff is when I post stuff from RGM, it gets the algorithm doesn't pick it up at all. Like, Amanda Riggs had something I reposted, and I thought it was fucking great. I loved it. That's why I reposted it. Like, the algorithm didn't let it get seen by anyone. And I don't like playing the whole, like, oh, I'm shadow banned. Because when people say they're shadow banned, it's like, oh, maybe your shit just sucks. like I've been shadow banned before. Then it turns out I wasn't. I was just putting up fucking dog shit content. And it was like I wasn't shadow banned. I was just making poor choices. But I don't know what it is with the algorithm now. It's like, it's just not being shown. I'm like, because I went to look, it's like, how many accounts did it reach? And, I'm not playing the game of like buying follows and buying likes and buying views. Like, I'm not doing that. It's like, I'm going to put shit out and it's going to go where it's going to go. But it does frustrate me when I put Crazy 88 content up. Yeah. And it gets no traction. I was like, The fuck are you talking about? There's no traction. Like, I'll post something by Sergio. It's fucking great. Nothing. Riggs. Nothing. It's like, yo.
There's this thing we were talking about recently because it kind of like ties into Flow. It's like, why doesn't Flow coverage our people, like Crazy 88 people, right?
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder if they have a hand in this, maybe. Because, like, we got world champs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, why are they posting about all these other kids, like these other juveniles and other people? It was like, we literally have someone who did a Grand Slam run. Like, Devin and Pyron won, like, so many events within the past year. Why aren't they getting a coverage?
I mean,
You know what I mean?
the only reason I'm even seeing anything is because our gym posted.
Yeah, our gym is posting it.
And and it's like, well, what the fuck is this? Like Flo isn't saying anything. It's like IBJJF isn't like pumping anyone up. It's like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
okay, the fuck is that about? Fuck y'all. So, you know what? We going to war with them. Actually, I'm not, because I think Flo actually did have me. They flagged me years ago.
We're going to war, not BJJ.
Hey, they going to war. 88 going to war with y'all. They don't fuck with my content. Like, I still repost. Well, because I shared something, and this was like in the early days.
Yeah.
I tagged them and everything, and they
didn't like it.
Instagram told me to pull it down. I was like, I gave them credit though. It's not like I took the shit. It was like, okay, you know what? From now on, I'm not gonna credit Flo.
Yeah.
That's how I got around. I was like, I'm gonna take your video. I'm not even gonna say I got it from Flo. Whoever's in the video, I'm gonna tag them. Won't tag Flo. Fuck you guys, because y'all some fucking petty little bitches. I mean, I'm petty, but y'all super petty.
Yeah.
Like y'all 50 Cent petty. Like, y'all petty for no reason. You ain't gotta be petty. Y'all being petty. Like, I'm petty because I got a chip on my shoulder. I'm from Detroit. Like, I lived in Flint. We got bad water. Like, water's really not that bad. It wasn't that good either.
DC water's pretty bad.
Well, it's like those old cities though. Like, they never like got the pipes fixed. So it's like DC,
Water tastes so
Baltimore,
bad.
Detroit, Flint, predominantly black cities. Like, well, I mean, the water out here is like, every time I look on my phone, I get like a little alert from a chime, not chime, ring, the ring snitch.
Oh,
group.
yeah.
Like, I just call it the snitch group, because he's like, did you guys hear helicopters? Like, girl, go somewhere. Like, Roberta, sit down. But someone put up a thing though. It was like, is anybody else's water yellow? It's like, maybe that ain't water. It's like, but then it had me wondering, because this was yesterday. I came home and I had some grapes and I washed my grapes off. Like, I started eating my grapes. Like, these grapes taste a little funny. Like, I wonder if it's that yellow water. Like, if it's even water. Whatever though. But last thing before we get out of here, Arte Suave Elites. We gotta sort that out.
Yeah, man. I'm ready to go make that trip.
I mean, you be ready all you want. I ain't got money like that. You better chill. He's like, I'm ready to go tomorrow. That good for you. I got action figures to buy some. Like, I can't just be hopping on planes going to California. What the fuck is wrong with you? I think I am.
Go on eBay. Go on TJ Maxx.
I do. That's
Save money. Shop
cheap
smart.
figures. I've been going to Amazon when those figures, Sarah Seal figure, and so it's like, you want me to get this? Like, nope, it's going to be on Amazon real soon for $12. Trust me. And then it does. But she got me that Wolverine, the new one. It dropped yesterday. The movie Jump Off. And I says to her, I was like,
Is that movie out yet?
Nah, end of July. I showed her a picture on my phone on Thursday. I was like, hey, if you stumble upon this in the store, pick it up.
Yeah.
So yesterday, she's at the store, sends me a picture. This one, I was like, fucking right, doggy. So she's an enabler. That's all. She just be buying figures for me for no reason. Then she was like, hey.
It's wifey material.
Like, can you do me a favor? Can you go mow the backyard?
Never.
Girl, I gotta go pose these action figures.
Remember the time I got you that action figure?
Yeah.
This lawn isn't gonna mow itself.
It's like, hey, so Like, what is it? Oh, I had to fix the toilet the other week. When I'm fixing toilets, I feel like a real like professional and shit. It's like it's super easy. But I'm like, I feel like a grown up. I fixed the fuck out of that toilet. It flushes again.
What do you do? Replace the chain and the little.
Yeah, I've done that. I was super proud. Like I was proud as shit because you got to measure that shit out, right? You got to make sure the shit, it's not too much slack and it's not too.
Yeah.
So that's science, son. But I had to replace like the whole pump, and I was like, oh, I don't know what to do here. And I was like, yeah, Google,
YouTube.
Yeah, I went straight to YouTube. I was like, oh, that's easy. Drain this jump off because that makes sense. You got to drain it and then just disassemble the pump. Oh, that's easy. So I felt like a grown up, dude. So I'll be doing grown up shit. I be getting passports, fixing toilets, buying action figures. But
That last part.
but nah, like I'm gonna actually try to reach out to Fredo soon.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get him back on the pod. It's been a while. Number one, but number two, and then start trying to sort out what's his schedule.
Yeah.
So this fall, like my hope was to do it this fall. I gotta go to Detroit. 5 year, we do it every 5 years, family reunion. And Grandma was like, I want to get a family picture. And Grandma's 93, so it's like, let's just go ahead and get that picture. Like, because we might not get it in 5 years. I don't know. Plus, I think this might be their last time actually making the trip, regardless. Because my grandfather just had back surgery. They're making a fucking 10 hours. I mean, if they want to do the family reunion in Iceland, I'm all about that. 6-hour flight, and it's cheaper. I heard they're really cool to black folks up there too. Apparently, so it's like Sarah's like, duh, it makes sense. So like, they've never seen y'all before. Like, yeah, we don't fuck with the cold like that. So I think they're like capital is Bjork or some shit. I don't know. Like, I think it's Reykjavik. I think Bjork is the singer. But they should name a town after her, right? Because she's the most famous thing out of Iceland. I'm pretty sure.
The singer?
Yeah.
Is she from Iceland?
Yeah. I'm pretty certain she's from Iceland. Like, I'm certain I didn't make that up. Bjork. Bjork.
Watch her be from like Sweden or something.
She's 58. That's wild. Good for her. She
Icelandic
is from
singer. Wow.
Reykjavik. That's how you say it.
Are you saying that right?
Dude, I'm saying it perfect. I know that I'm saying it.
That is not.
That is Reykjavik.
There's a J in there.
Yeah, so there's a J in her fucking name too. But we're now pronouncing it.
Reykjavik. There's no N, Dante. Where's the N coming from?
I said Reykjavik. I didn't say Vink. I said Vik.
How do you say this?
Reykjavik. I promise you, Scouts Honor. I went to Boy Scouts in Iceland. But yeah, she's from Iceland. But yeah, the ideal was this fall. I was like, let's go September, October. Let's figure that out. Mm-hmm. And I told Sarah about it. I was like, I am going to make this trip. Yeah. Regardless, whether I'm actually going to compete or not, I'm making the trip. I want to compete. I want to do it because it's like, why not?
You might as well get one gi match in.
Let's go out there and get like grapple fucked by some dude from California real quick. It's like, this is an experience. Mark it off my bucket list. It's a weird bucket list. Like,
remember what we said? Whether you win or lose, you felt like you earned it, right?
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, it's the ideal. Like, also just going out there and just like meeting up with these folks. Yeah. That's kind of the big thing to me. It's like, I talk to a lot of folks, all over the place. Yeah. And to meet them is like what's special. Yeah. The only folks that I can say that I've met in person that I've encountered through Instagram or the podcast is Rochelle Potter out in Virginia. Actually, I almost tried to plan a trip to go there this morning. Yeah. But because I was going to ask you, like, yo, you want to ride up to Shark Pit and go train with me?
I actually would have said yes to that.
So there were mixed plans for today.
Yeah.
And then this was like on Tuesday that this was going on. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I was like, I don't want to like set something up because it was either that or Silverback. Yeah. Like Silverback is so fun though. Like, and it's like an hour away. Like Shark Pit, I think is like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours away. It's a fucking brutal drive. Like first world problems. But like basically Matt Walsham,
Yeah.
And Rochelle Potter. I believe are the only ones that can say. Oh no, there's been a couple of people who've shown up to the gym, like just they happen to like have family in the area,
Mm-hmm.
like show up. The one dude who showed up during Thanksgiving break. I was like, okay, that's cool. Then I think he farted in my face or some shit. Like, come on, dude. Like, I ain't gonna be a guest in my gym and then fart on me. Like, and then I think I elbowed him in the eye. It was like, I don't know which came first.
You might as well do combat jiu-jitsu at this point.
I mean, at that rate. But it would be neat to get out there,
Yeah.
and meet up with the grapplers and just experience it. And I mean, who knows? Maybe episode 1 of Dante's Grand Travels will take off from that point. We go out there, do some jiu-jitsu, and then go eat some food and do some videos. And we're like, oh shit, look at this. We're eating ramen in California now. I don't even know if they have ramen in California, but we're going to eat ramen out here now. And then we're like, our ramen in Maryland is better. We got it in Gambrills and Columbia, bitch. But yeah, just that experience is something that I want.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like the timing of it. And also, yeah, just really the timing. That's the biggest thing. Because like figuring out the timing helps me figure out the money.
Yeah.
Like the rest of it, I don't care. They like homeless people in California. Just go hang out with them, right? Just go camp out
You
on
got
the
mole
beach.
people if you go to LA.
What's that?
You got mole people if you go to LA.
I don't think I'm ready for that. I'm all about like
They
sleeping
live
on the
right
beach.
under the city.
Nah, I'm not. Look, I've seen Ninja Turtles, and let me tell you, it seemed cool as a kid, but as you're an adult, you start worrying about certain bacteria and germs. You're like, ugh. Like they just gonna eat pizza down there in the
Dude,
sewer.
I feel so strong about that. I've been getting scratched a lot in the gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like scrubbing away at these like scratch wounds, which
Like,
just ugh.
yeah, like no, I get you. So I've been coming home with like a bloody kid. It ain't my blood. Motherfuckers be like,
That doesn't bother me as much as getting scratched.
like the blood. So blood doesn't normally bother me,
Yeah,
but it's like a consistent. And it's not like I'm rolling with the same people
yeah,
every time. It's different people. Each time it's like, yo, who's bleeding? Like, I'm not hitting people. Like, I'm not spazzing. I'm not white belt. I'm not like sucker punching people. But sure enough, just coming home, I don't get as many scratches anymore.
I get a lot of scratches,
I haven't had
and it's really
my
fucking with me.
hand, like all these scars on my hands, like somehow, like
Yeah, why am I getting scars on my hand from getting scratched?
yeah, like
You know what I mean?
like this, and it's only my left hand. The back of my left hand has all these scars from, but these are like old. I think one of them was like
Yeah.
maybe from a month ago, but the other ones are like years old. I don't get a lot of scratches, but motherfuckers be bleeding like these faces be having a period on my fucking gi.
The one thing I don't like right now that's been happening to me a lot, or when people collar tie me, they rip down on my neck, and I know they're not cutting their nails because as soon as I feel that sweat hit that wound, ooh, that's why I'm getting really diligent about like the way I'm really washing. Like
Yeah, there's
like I mean you should be already, but like I'm like using a whole what's it called, loofah or whatever.
Yeah.
Just using that just to dig in there and just
mhm.
just messes with me.
It's the same thing here. It's like as soon as I get home, right upstairs, jump in the shower, and I'm like scrubbing
Yeah.
heavy. The biggest thing to me is I don't want to get any kind of staph. I don't want
yeah.
MRSA, like anything.
Yeah.
And
There was someone who posted recently where they got MRSA from at the beach and everything, and I was like, "Oof, what happened?" And like, I was like, someone scratched or something their leg, and that's how it happened.
ugh,
And they were like in the hospital for like 2 weeks or whatever, or they were bedridden for 2 weeks.
nah, I can't do that. I don't fuck with the beach anyway. So, like, I think. Well, and that was the other thing too. It's like, I think August we're gonna try to take Sarah her birthdays, and I was like, let's go to the beach.
Yeah, like Ocean City or something. Or
Yeah.
Virginia Beach.
Yeah, I don't fuck with beaches. I've never been to Ocean City.
Yeah.
I've been here for 2024. I've been here for 32 years. I've never been to Ocean City. I got a good streak. Actually, Steve, this weekend, we didn't record Columpton last night because he goes, last second Ocean City trip. Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to come along if you want. And it was like on that note, I was like, well, since we're not recording, I guess I could. I was like, nah, I got a streak. I gotta keep that streak alive, son. But I think we might end up taking Sarah to the beach.
Yeah.
Just like, let's go to the beach. But no,
At least that's better than like just randomly going. You have like, you know, a trip planned, and it's
Yeah.
like a special occasion.
it's just like a weekend thing, like
Yeah.
a little long. I don't even know what day of the week her birthday is.
So I said you don't know her birthday.
Actually, I get it mixed up because of it being August.
Yeah.
So, when I do the numbers, it's like August 9th.
Oh.
So I get it mixed up with 9/8, and I'm like, shit. It's not that I know the actual birthday. It's just that if I'm
9/8 is
writing
my
it,
birthday.
like 9/8. Wait, I thought you just had a birthday.
No, mine is September 8th. See, you're thinking about me the whole time. You're trying to take me to the beach on my birthday.
I mean, we can do that too. But
you look, your face is so cute.
oh, actually, no, 9/8. I'm gonna be in Detroit. Actually, because no, 13th. Never mind. No, but like, who? Well, so Huggy, Mahoney, they just had birthdays.
Yeah, both of them recently had theirs.
I don't know why your birthday was like right before theirs on my mind too.
Because in a sense, we're a trio. When you think about the old guys back.
Yeah.
Like that was my group. Me, him, Mahoney, Gerard, and Hawkins.
Yeah.
And the MMA part of the team back then.
Like, I for whatever reason in my mind, I kept thinking your birthday was in May,
Oh no,
and I don't know why. Like,
girl, that's way off.
but then there's like someone else though whose birthday. Oh, like one of my like friends from like childhood.
It's okay, Dante. I get it. You're a terrible friend. You hate me.
What's fucked up is I am usually like when it comes to dates and stuff, like I still trap my brain is.
Yeah,
But lately it's been
you're old.
yeah.
I'm the same way too now.
Oh shit! Sarah's birthday's on a Friday. We definitely hitting the beach, son. Make that a long weekend. I'll go out there and get drunk and fucking drown.
You're gonna
in
get
the ocean.
hotel rooms or something or Airbnb?
I don't know. Look, I'm talking about planning the trip. I don't know.
I'm asking too much of you. You're gonna go there and be like, "Fuck, it's crowded. There's people here.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Why is it wet and sandy?
Yo, I'm gonna go out this motherfucker and just be like, yo, why is there sand?
There's sand between my toes. I hate it." Then you're gonna be like, "Why the fuck did I come out here?"
So where are we staying at? So I got some tents in the trunk. we can just camp on the beach, right? Is that illegal? Like it is.
You make a sand igloo.
Sophie would be excited. She'd be so happy.
They would love it. You, on the other hand, I know how you are.
Fuck the beach, I can't. Whenever that question comes up, would you rather be in the mountains or the beach? Neither, to be honest. But
Do
if
some
I
day
have to
drinking
choose,
if you stay for the weekend.
so I would be in for day drinking, but my family isn't built that way. Like my kid is. My kid is like, yo, let's get trash. Or like, yo, you're 8. Like, sit down. Like my wife took a quarter of an edible last night. She was like, I don't like this feeling. I was like, oh, then you're not ready for the rest of the world. Trust me, because right now I'm cruising to this fucking Kendrick Lamar concert. I'm in a great place.
She probably should have took a quarter too.
Mm-hmm. But she did take a quarter.
Oh shit!
she was not happy. Well, because we're sitting there at one point. She goes, "Has yours kicked in yet?"
You're like, huh?
And I'm sitting there. I was like, my tongue is tingly. So yes. She was like, okay. And then that's when it just started like washing over. I was like, and we're going. And she's like, I don't feel anything yet. Then about 40 minutes later, she goes, okay, I feel it now. I was like, okay.
One of my first times doing edibles, it was like doing Jello shots. It's the worst thing. I was like, I don't feel it, and this gummy's pretty good. Let me go take another one.
There's my buddy who does Kalamta with me. One of his friends, they gave him like 50 milligram, and
That's
I guess
too much for me already.
It's too much for most. So, and this is his first time. He's never done any edibles, so he took that
whole thing.
Yeah,
motherfucker must have been dead.
Yeah, he was in a different world. But it's like I was like, dog, like 10 is enough. Like, what are we doing?
Even 10's a lot. I'll do like 5 or like 2.
10 is a party. Okay, 10 is a party. 5 5 is fine.
Yeah.
5 is, again, if I want to sit down here, put the lights on and put the pulse on to go with the music. If I want to listen to like, some fucking trip hop.
Yeah.
And I'm on a 5, I'm in a good place because I can sit down here, fuck with action figures, listen to the music.
Yeah,
and
you're functional.
I'm safe. Whereas a 10, I know that I'm not doing much of anything. It's sit down and watch something. 20, no.
You're done.
20 is the ideal. Is like I'm probably just going to bed. Like I have no intentions of socializing. 50 isn't even a thought. That's nothing I would even consider. And I know there are folks that do that shit like it's a Tuesday. It's like really? That sounds problematic. Like it's not. It's just Tuesday afternoon. That's bold. Because for a Tuesday afternoon for me, I'm just going to Ellicott City to the Railroad Museum. That's all. Tuesday afternoon. Just go looking at old trains from like the 1800s. They have a model train set too. It's pretty cool. Oh, I should go down there high. Looking at the trains, like, oh my God, look at these little people. They're waving at me. Like, get this guy out of here. They have an antique shop across the street with a Ouija board in there
I think
too.
I know which one you're talking about. Is it by the river?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's fun times. It's free. Just walk in. It's actually really cool. Then they have like the little antique shop with the Ouija board across the street. That it's like, God, I kind of want to buy it.
I want to go fishing around there.
I want to buy a Ouija board. Like, we're on 2 different conversations here, Mark. You want to go fishing? I want to buy a Ouija board.
Same location.
We're not. Yeah, that's true. Same location, but we're not the same. It's like
I can make fish tacos. You could kill someone.
Or I could summon the dead. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good time all the same, and they have a fire pit.
That's what a Ouija board does. I thought it was like a death note. You write, spell someone's name and they die.
Oh, that'd be an interesting story, but I feel like, I get roasted for like, that's not how a Ouija board works. I'm like, blame Mark, the Filipino guy. Like, he doesn't know shit. He's not even from here. Like,
You know what's crazy? I found out Filipinos are probably one of the most superstitious nationalities in the world. But I never knew that.
like, I've always heard that, but I was like,
I'm not really that Filipino.
Like, I need evidence. And they're like, talk about Manny Pacquiao with like, well, he didn't want to take the blood test because he's superstitious. I was like,
I heard about that.
it was like other people suspect other reasons. It's like, no, but they are superstitious though. So, but needles is a weird superstition to have. I don't know. That's a weird one. But like a lady that is actually funny. I have like a lot of Filipino friends.
You have more than me then. I only have Kai.
I'm not really sure.
He's Japanese and Puerto Rican. It's the closest thing I can
It's
get.
like he's not Filipino. I mean, I guess by proxy.
He's the closest thing I got to Filipino.
Like I didn't like even realize it. I started thinking like, oh, damn, I do like there's like her like like wow, oh, his whole family. Like this is one chick, she's Filipino, but I was certain she was Japanese. Like I suspect she probably is because I hear she's a habitual liar. So I think she was Japanese. I'm convinced. But yeah, I have a lot of Filipino friends. That's weird. Huh. I need to like do a friend inventory. Check this shit out. Make sure like, spreading my friendships around. So like I can't be lopsided one way because everybody gonna start making judgments. But dude, like we can't do a podcast without like a fucking script or a fucking outline because we just keep going all over the place. And that was one of the things I was thinking. It's like, oh, it's gonna be Mark and I. We're gonna be doing an anniversary episode. I don't need an outline. Well, I hardly ever have an outline anyway.
You tried. You really tried to go back to jiu-jitsu. We just be wrapping up for no reason. I was about to bring up the whole like thing about like doing a friend inventory again.
I mean,
I don't have any Asian friends really. I'm racist against Asians. Mulan, Hero. Come on now. So you know how bad that makes me.
He said, find us an Asian hero. He was like, here's Mulan. They're like, well, I mean, I guess it's kind of based off a real person.
Is it? I didn't know. I
mean,
just think of Eddie Murphy half the time.
What did we watched something the other day and Eddie Murphy, we saw something Eddie Murphy popped up and so he goes, that guy looks, it was an ad for the new Beverly Hills Cops.
Oh, I thought about watching that. I wanted to watch Coming to America again.
So yeah, those classics, it's like it's weird because it's like I want to watch them,
Yeah,
but it's like watching things when I was younger versus watching them now. Because when I watched them when I was younger, it's just I'm watching it just to kind of take in the content.
Yeah.
But I'm not absorbing what I'm watching. It's just
Yeah.
I'm watching it. Now watching something, it's like now I'm taking it in and understanding it. It's like,
Yeah. I recently watched White Chicks.
oh,
And there was like so much I missed
dude.
as a child versus like
Yo,
as-
we watch White Chicks like it's the news in this house. You know, there's shit's
I watch it like maybe once every 3 months. But then this time, like I actually like missed some jokes. I was like, oh shit, I didn't really realize some things.
Dude, oh, I was gonna say I'm gonna watch it tonight, but there are fights tonight. Never mind. We're gonna watch White Chicks tomorrow because it's such a fun movie. Like, it's fucked up, but it's fun, and you can't make it today. I mean, like that's the thing I keep hearing. Like, you can't make this. I think you can. Sometimes you just gotta take a risk. Go out there and make your movie. I mean, I think what they're thinking is you can't make it today because it ain't gonna make money. It's like, well, hardly any movie is making money anyway. So just fucking make your movie, put it out there. People are gonna watch it. Like, I like fucking stupid comedy,
Yeah.
and I know people. The whole thing with canceling stuff is like,
It's
look,
stupid. But then again, I appreciate stand up because it's like they say shit people think a lot.
dude. Yeah,
They're
Yeah.
willing to say it.
Well, there's I posted something about, I guess, Gen Z's trying to cancel Eminem, and someone actually jumped in my DMs and replied and says, "Yeah, my parents canceled him a long time ago, as we're canceling him now, as it should be." I didn't reply back. I think I gave a thumbs up. It's like, shut the fuck up. It's like your parents canceled him a long time ago. Did they cancel him? Did he go away? They didn't cancel him. Shut the fuck up. I mean, I think when it's like the ideal, like, I think definitions
Yeah.
are important. Understanding what a word means.
And it's so annoying to me because like this is why English is one of the hardest language or most complicated ones.
Yeah.
Because like we literally mix up our terms
Mhm.
with other words like canceling. there's I can't even keep up. There's like some word.
Well, it's like also too. It's just like repurposing words now.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of putting it. It's like, but then they lose its like essential meaning, like hot. Now, like usually means like physically, it's something's on.
Yeah.
The temperature is high. Now it's like, oh my gosh, I'm on a roll.
Yeah, I'm hot.
I'm hot.
Yeah, like I'm on fire.
And what's worse is that's like 4 or 5 generations behind.
Yeah.
No one
true.
uses it like that. So now hot might be different.
Well, no. Now they say it's fire. I mean, that might even be still a little
I think
behind
that's
now.
I think that's old too.
That's behind now. What was it? There's like, whenever I hear words being used, and it's like, oh, this meant one thing at one point, but now you've taken this and made it a whole different thing. Like, you just chose that this is what it's going to be.
Yeah,
And as a society, we accept it. We're just like, yeah, that's fine.
it happens.
Like, it's fine. But it gets very confusing with like you said, if English is your second language, good luck. Like, well, and even for kids.
I feel like if it is your second language though, you have a pretty good structure because you still use the fundamental use of these words. Versus like my kids, like my students, they change up the meaning on like their sayings a lot. Like what? Remember how people used to say "on God"?
Yeah.
Now they say "on my soul." It's like what?
It's like, did you need
On
to
my
change
soul.
it? Like, why did you? Like, why are we changing it? Was it needed? Like,
Yeah, why did you have to change it? So.
like just because sometimes people was like in Mean Girls, fetch. Like, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's like Sarah said some shit yesterday on that line. Oh no, Sophie said something, and I turned to her like, stop trying to make fetch happen. And like Sarah got it. Obviously, Sophie didn't. She has not seen Mean Girls yet, but she did. Watch
Really?
it. No, not yet.
That's your movie.
Well, trust me, I wanted her to watch it, but Sarah's like, she's not ready for that yet. And I was like, it's fine. We watched World of Worlds though instead. It was
What?
like, what? I mean, World of Worlds. It was fine.
That one's dark. They literally use people as like Miracle Grow.
Okay. Well, she should have let her watch Mean Girls.
Mean Girls probably would have been a better choice.
I agree.
I don't think she would have understood everything.
So that's another goofy thing though too. Is like when we talk about like kids watching stuff, like, so let's say Goonies.
Oh yeah.
Goonies. Goonies, Lost Boys, in anything in that
Yeah.
that mid '80s period. We watched those as kids. They're beloved films.
Yeah.
I watched them as an adult. I was like, holy shit!
I mean, it's back to the white chicks thing. There are so many jokes that like went over my head that also like correlate to the time, too. Like what's essentially going wrong with society. And I was like, whoa, I didn't pick up on any of these, and now I'm getting it.
Yeah. Well, what did we watch? We're watching The Boys. Never mind. That's
That's a whole different.
that's a whole different thing. Sorry, wrong topic. But like, there's so many movies and shows that at the time they're trying to tell us something. We don't get it then.
Yeah.
We get it years later. It's like, oh, we get it to now.
I actually want to go back and rewatch some Simpsons episodes.
I have tried doing that, and it's not a bad watch, but it's so tough because there's so much.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, am I in for this long ride? And then if you're watching for a long time, like just binging it,
Yeah.
you start to get just flooded, and you're like, God, I can't take it. Like, I can't do it.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like, there are so many memes and like reels about like, or TikToks, like Simpsons predicted this, Simpsons predicted that. But as a child, like as a kid, when I watched it, it was more like, man, Bart's getting into trouble.
Yeah,
I
it's
was like, well, this kid's cool.
like Homer's a fucking doof. He's fucking up again. It's like, nope, they're predicting shit.
They're predicting like political changes. Like, I'm like, whoa.
Trump's gonna be president. No way. I guess the Simpsons were ahead of us on that one. But yeah, it's like when you look at any of the context of like old shows back then, it's fine. But when you get older, so the problem that I run into is like with our kids, it's like, well, we can let her watch this. And my wife's like, no, we can't because they say this, and then it's like she won't get it because we didn't get it. Like we get it now.
Exactly. When you watched it, you were probably a teenager, right?
Yeah. So, well, like, so I put on. So I had a guest on the horror podcast, and we were talking about like what would be a good like movies to start your kid on for horror.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question.
So that's our next. Well, I'm sorry. By the time this episode comes out, that would have been our last. So you like horror episode?
What movie did you decide on? Like pure horror?
So
for me, it'd be Underworld.
So like that's kind of bold. That's a little intense.
You think so?
I think that's intense. So
what's the age range though?
I don't know what my kid is. She might be 8, 7 or 8.
Oh, we're talking that young.
Yeah, we're talking about kids. So I think because we did the horror through the decades, watching some of the older stuff, it's not a bad move to go with like some of the older stuff like Frankenstein, Dracula, things like that.
Yeah.
But even with some of those, the aesthetic is there. The creatures are there. But it's like there's still a story that's going on to some degree that might be over their head or maybe, a little still mature for them, even given the time. So I mentioned Night of the Living Dead because my daughter loves zombies. And she's familiar. She's seen the picture. She knows what it is. And we told her when she turns 8, you can watch it. So sure enough, on her 8th birthday, she was in. She was like, can we watch it today? I was like, baby, like, chill. Like, you have a whole 364 more days. Like, relax. So we, that's why we ended up watching World of Worlds.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, let's go with something a little intense. Because the guy that I had on the podcast, he suggested watch, something with horror elements like Lord of the Rings. It has some horror elements, but it's not a horror. I was like, that's a good movie. And I was like, and we were sitting there one night, Sophie and I, because Sarah went in early for work one night. I was like, let's watch World of Worlds. And she really, really enjoyed it, actually. She was in. Then the next week, Sarah went in early again, so I was like, let's watch Monster Squad. So, not okay for an 8-year-old, for sure. They throwing the F word around. I don't mean fuck. they throwing the F word around big time, calling each other all types of F words. I was like, whoa. Like, we're not even 15 minutes into the movie.
That's a good point because, like, you got to think about the elements are a good thing to have, right?
Yeah.
But you still like the language. I mean, that's still up to the parents whether they want their kid to hear that or not.
And that's a tough word for me to hear.
Wasn't it Sophie saying like bitch or fuck when she was little?
Yeah, she was like,
that's your fault.
Is that a fucking B?
I remember. And I was like, Dante.
Oh my God. Like, where'd that come from? Like, cool, because I don't cuss around my kid. Like, no, I do, but I don't. You know, like if I'm like telling a story, like I'm trying to be like kind of low about it. Well, now she's older, so if I cuss, she'll like, Dad. I'm like, girl, shut up. Girl, shut the fuck up. But yeah, she was like, is that a fucking bee? And I took off running. I was like, well, at least she used it in the right context. I mean, I'm proud of her for that shit. But she was like, is that a shit bee? I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, get in the house. You're grounded. Like, you can't even cuss right. Like,
That's like an Asian.
like,
Just put any word on any word.
this is a fuck. Like, what? Like, all right. But yeah, like that, and then like Goonies was another one.
Yeah.
Where the language was like, that seems okay until
When you listen to like the actual lines, it's like one of the movies I thought about when this came up, because like Halloween's one of my favorite holidays, right? So I love being involved with the community. Like I like helping out with like trick or treating. I forgot what they call when they park their cars and do
Trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat. I like to help out with my community with that kind of stuff. Yeah, we used to have those back when the gym was starting too, but it was always one of those questions, because I'm actually I love horror movies to a degree, but they have to make sense to me, and I also don't like horror movies where it involves like ghosts and everything and like possession. So A Quiet Place is a movie I really enjoyed. Stranger Things, I actually love that show.
Okay.
Because it has a lot of horror elements. And it's also kind of like, it plays with the government theories. You know what I mean? Like Area 51 and like what's going on with like experiments and stuff like that. So when the question popped up, like what's a movie I would allow my kid to watch at like a young age, one of the movies I thought of, because I didn't think it had a lot of bad language, was The Mummy.
So we just talked about that last night.
Yeah.
I told Sarah, I was like, so as we were looking through that book there, she saw a picture of the original Mummy.
Yeah.
And like, again, Sophie knows all the classic monsters.
Yeah.
And then I was like, it's a movie we could watch, and it's not so much horror as much as it's action and adventure.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
The Mummy.
exactly. Yeah.
And Sarah was like, yeah, that's a good idea. I was like, so we might sit down, not to maybe tomorrow. I don't know when I'm recording Columpton, but these next couple of days, we might sit down with Sophie and watch The Mummy, because I don't think I watched the first Mummy. I watched The Mummy Returns.
The Mummy Returns I thought was really good. There might be some stuff that's a little scary.
That's the whole point.
But in terms of like it make you paranoid about like bugs or something, you know what I mean?
So I watched Arachnophobia before going to bed one night.
Oh no!
Worst idea ever.
That's the worst.
Oh man, at least I didn't take drugs. I would have been Foxville. I would have just called 911. I was like, I need help. Like, what happened? I ate some weed, and now spiders are trying to make babies inside of me. I was like, okay, lock this dude up and take his kid away forever. But yeah, like
The Mummy Returns was one of the first horror movies. I don't consider it a horror movie. For me, it's like an action adventure type movie, but it does contain a lot of elements. It does use the lore of a mummy, right, to sort of like make the whole plot points of the movie. But I think when I saw the first one, I wasn't really that interested, because it was scary, but it wasn't like the second one where they had a really good goal. They played a lot into like what we thought of mummies, and it was pretty accurate, right? They used like scriptures and enchantment and stuff like that.
So like, I don't know. I think when I saw the trailer for the original Mummy, I just had no interest.
No.
Okay, it's on Peacock. I was trying to see where it's streaming, because I know we own The Mummy Returns. We don't own The Mummy.
Yeah.
But The Mummy Returns, I think part of why The Mummy Returns, because The Rock was in it.
Yeah.
That was his debut. So I was like, well, I want to watch this, and it was fine. I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the first DVD we ever owned.
When you look at The Mummy Returns too, like it has a lot of like kid friendly aspects, right? One of the main characters is a child, and he plays a major plot point in the movie. And then Brendan Fraser's just a goofy, funny guy.
He's George of the Jungle.
Yeah, exactly.
He's an Encino Man.
So you could tell it's going to be lighthearted. It's not going to be heavy on the main characters whatsoever.
Yeah, that I think That might be art because I think Sarah texted me and said that she's not feeling well, so she went upstairs and took a nap, and Sophie's just chilling, like fucking around in the living room with the Legos and shit. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe when we're done there, I'm probably just gonna sit down, like let's watch the Mummy. And she was like, I went to watch it with you guys. She was like, well, you shouldn't have been sick. So that's what get a better immune system. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. What the fuck is wrong with you? They're yelling at me in my house.
You said the same thing about her last time. I think it's when she went on a trip to like somewhere.
I will feel better. Like, I work hard to get these action figures. I don't really be working hard to pay this mortgage, but I've been working hard to buy these action figures, pay these subscriptions and shit. But that mortgage thing, shit, it ain't my responsibility. I'm not an adult. I ain't got a passport yet, so I'm not a real grown up. Once I get the passport, I'm gonna be flexing. I'm gonna be walking around. I'm gonna go to the bars with my passport. Like, yeah, this is me. Like, sir, you have
What country are you from? America.
Where are you from? Detroit. Like, okay, sir.
Your passport.
Yeah,
Check your ID.
I can't go to Arte Suave until I get my passport. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's only in California. Yeah, I know. But, grown up shit. Trying to be an adult. Well, like, I got the, full setup. Like, let me get the little book and everything. Because, like, if you want to travel overseas, you need the book. You can't, like, you go to Canada and Mexico. And, like, I can't go to Canada. Because, they're super strict. They're like, oh, you got a DUI? Boy, you ain't coming in here. Yo, my one of my Facebook accounts got hacked.
Really?
It said Palestinian Jesus. Like, whoever hacked it, that's what they changed the account to. And it wasn't a major account. It had 30,000 followers, but it wasn't like one of the ones that I use all the time. I forgot about it, actually, until I saw it on my Facebook. I was like, what the fuck is that? It's one of the accounts that, Tony had opened up for me to run. And I was like, okay, cool. And we just never like the content that was on there were a few things that he had posted trying to like bridge from a white belt BJJ to that. And it just never, because I didn't follow up. I was like, I was doing BJJ Wiki. I was like, no, I'm doing this.
You're focused on one thing.
Yeah. So, I look on that account and I see it's like some dude putting a lot of pro-Palestine stuff up. And I was like, I don't have a dog in the fight. Most people don't, but they want to argue anyway. But I don't, it's not for me to scream and complain about, because me screaming about either or isn't fixing the problem that's going on over there. But I will say this, I was pissed because it was my account.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. I was like, yo. So I, deleted it altogether. I was like, I'm going to take my 30,000 followers and we're wiping it. It's gone.
Yeah.
No longer exists.
Because you're not going to use a platform to express your opinions when it's literally made for something entirely different and it's your account.
Yes, correct. That's the whole thing. Is like, I try. So the most opinion you get from me on BJJ Wiki is, again, when it comes to mental health.
Yeah.
That's the most you'll get. Otherwise, I try to stay out of any,
like, political, any global.
For sure. Like, during 2020, I did a little bit with Black Lives Matter, a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's how a teammate of ours and I got into some static back and forth. And that wasn't even what it was about. I didn't put up Black Lives Matter stuff. I actually put up pro-trans stuff, and he came at me, and I was like, he brought up Black Lives Matter. I was like, dog, that's not, you're just swinging at the wrong things right now.
You're just throwing everything you can.
But, it's whatever. We never talked about it again. I actually tried that one on the podcast.
Yeah.
And he agreed to do it. Then he declined later. I was like, that's fine. I wasn't even going to bring that up anyway.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to talk jiu-jitsu with him, and him at that time getting promoted. But it's whatever. But yeah, like that platform is only for goofy memes, okay technique videos, and hey, just remind you, hey, drink some water, bitch. That's all. Stay hydrated and talk. If you need to talk. But you ain't got no friends, make a podcast.
Yeah.
You'll get something. Like, that's how I have friends now. All right. I said like an hour ago, yo, let's wrap.
It's like 1:30. We started at 10.
Yeah. It's time to get this is going to be 2 episodes. I got to split this up. I can't put a 3-hour episode out anymore.
We might have to edit a lot, though.
Well, yeah, that's why I was like, that's why I have to split it, because I have to edit. Because there are things we were saying, I was like, oh boy, but we got to flow, so I don't want to stop us now. So we may as well I'll just go back and edit that shit. So I'm going to split this episode up in 2. So it's going to be 2 90-minute episodes. Mark, thank you again for doing this. And you do the anniversary episode every year with me. So thank you for being episode 1. And whatever a year later was, and 2 years later, and 3. So, like, I mean, but this is 4 years doing this, and like honestly, doing that first episode, like I would not have wanted to have done it with anyone else because it's like, well, who the fuck else am I going to talk to? Well, Mark talks to me all the time, so let's sit down and fucking record this piss poorly, and then still put the shit out. Like, oh my god, that sounds bad. I don't even think I edited. I don't think I did shit.
No, you did it on a phone.
There was like no music. There was nothing. I just put the episode out. Just said, "Hey, I got a podcast," and I mean, I honestly, like I said when we did episode 200, I didn't think we were going to make it past 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And here we are. This is going to be like, I don't even know what number. This is going to be like 220, close to 220. I don't think it's 220, but, you know.
You got an addiction going on.
Yeah, a little bit, you know. Look, it could be heroin, all right? It's not. So it's just podcasting. I got 3 podcasts, and we're considering doing the fourth
one? Damn.
It would be literally a monthly episode.
You're such a liar.
The horror podcast was supposed to be monthly.
Bro, I know you.
So it would only be monthly because I don't really have time
to
do another weekly one.
Yeah.
And this topic, I would have to do a lot more research. So it would have to be a monthly thing. I would have to do a lot of research. Like the horror podcast, I have to do a lot of research, but I watch so much horror movies that I kind of can get away with bullshitting, but this one's probably going to be a music podcast, and I want to make sure I'm doing my due diligence and really providing the info there. So it's in the talks. I'm not sure if it's going to actually happen, but either way, thank you for doing this. Before we get out of here, shout outs, mentions, where can we find you social media wise? I got this fancy pipe here, it's tobacco pipe, not crack pipe. So what's up?
Oh, so you shout out to John Fitzmeals, Odyssey Strong, obviously our gym, Crazy 88. What? Why are you laughing? I can hear that shit from here. I can literally hear.
This is I'm a child.
But, surprised Bubbles wasn't coming out of that.
Oh my god,
that should be it.
I'm doing it now.
But yeah, obviously our gym, Crazy 88, Odyssey Strong, John's Fit Meals, and yeah, just those, the people we work with that also help not just our gym, but the martial arts community, sports community, stuff like that. So
excellent. And I'll be sure to tag our gym, John's Fit Mill. I don't know why I say Fitz Mills, and
John's Fit Mill.
I think it's all these S's. But thank you for that. And as always, to the listeners, thank you. This has been a fun ride, 4 years, and we're still doing it. And it's because of y'all. So thank you, all the listeners. We appreciate the fuck out of you. Big shout out to our crew over there at Nerd Rage Radio. Bobby, Chris, Joe, Maryland Phil, Ricky Ticky, all you fuckers. Thank you. I love you guys. If it wasn't for Nerd Rage Radio, I wouldn't be doing this podcast. Well, I probably would, but they really pushed me with it because I started podcasting with them. So thank you, Nerd Rage. We love you guys. I want to give a big shout out also to my other podcast, So You Like Horror. If you like scary movies, go check that shit out. We talked about it a little bit earlier, and who knows what we're on. We'll probably talk about kid-friendly horror, maybe. We might be talking about The Conjuring, even, because I've been doing my notes for that. Or we might be talking about Poltergeist. Either way it goes, go check that podcast out. Go check out the Instagram, too. So You Like Horror. So You Like Horror. All the words separated by underscores. And, yeah, we fancy and shit. But I want to give a shout out also to the Compton Beer Club. That's my other podcast, other podcast where we talk about beer, sports, and we just say fucked up shit. Like the shit that you got here, it's kind of what Compton is, really, just with alcohol and more bad words, more offensive words, to be quite honest. So Go check that out if you're not soft as baby shit. And last but not least, big shout out to my teammate here, Mark, in our gym, Crazy 88, Savannah Park, Elk Ridge, and Owens Mills. Big shout out. Let's make some noise.
Is this it? Whoa.
We got the crowd involved, son. But yeah, again, thank you for doing this. I appreciate the hell out of you. And just each, oh my God.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Oh, that's what that button does.
Wait, hold on. Here's the first one.
Cocaine and hookers, my friend.
Oh my gosh.
Let's not go to button number 3. that one's gonna get folks in trouble. But yeah, I appreciate this. I appreciate you making the time to do this every year with me for the anniversary. Because that's the crazy thing. Is like, hey, so you want to do this anniversary episode? It's like, I'm busy. Like, okay, that sucks. Oh well. And granted, this is weeks before it's due, so it's kind of like, gotcha. If I wait till the week before, like, hey, you want to do this episode? I'm busy. Fuck. I gotta go find a new friend. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And as always, to the listeners, we love you guys as well. You guys keep listening, and we're gonna keep making these shows. Thank you, everybody, and bye.
They were with it. Now let me sing a song.